Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Yeah, when we do the whole Aaron Rodgers.
Back to pass, looking to his left, throws left, and that's intercepted. Picked off by Jackson across the 45 to the 40. He'll run out of bounds at about the 39. The pass went off the hands of Calvin Austin into the hands of Dante Jackson. Second interception tonight for the Chargers.
There we go. Thank you. Chargers radio. And Pearl, when we do the whole Aaron Rodgers goes into Canton, they're not going to put this game into the highlight reel. No, this is a bad one. And this could be the beginning of the end here for Rodgers, Pearl. We always know at times, especially with quarterbacks in their 40s, sometimes the cliff can come. Not for a guy like Joe Flacco, but for everyone else, the cliff comes. And we may have seen that last night. Welcome to the show, by the way. Hi,
well,
Maggie, Gray, Andrew Perloff, and the Chargers come away with a big win last night in the AFC, and it's left us with a lot of questions about the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I think that you're thinking that it's going to be Russell Wilson last year, who obviously is, by the way, we thought that was the cliff last year. Apparently the cliff was yesterday.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We saw Russell Wilson sighting, which is not what you want.
Aaron Rodgers was good last week against Indianapolis, so how do you know this one game is what he is? Maybe he was, he's on the road. I know it's LA. They're mostly Steelers fans there. But it's kind of hard to tell for me. I saw a lot of this, Rodgers is toast. But Rodgers has been fairly conservative all year. He's never thrown for more than basically 250 yards. He's run the offense, been very conservative. Yesterday, it just went all wrong. So I'm willing to at least theorize that this was a one-off because the Steelers, the Steelers, they will win games that they shouldn't, and they'll lose games that they should win. So I'm not done with Rodgers, although I think a lot of people are, because he kicked the Colts' butt. It was mostly T.J. Watt, but it was a lot of Rodgers too. Last night he was just off. He was completely off. The safety was all you need to see. He had a safety where he just didn't know where to go with the ball. It was dancing around. Eventually, they just took him down.
It was almost like he didn't even realize he was in the end zone because he retreated. I'm like, dude, you got to be aware of where you are. You've been doing this now for 20 years. So Rodgers sacked for the safety, as you mentioned, intercepted twice, although one not his fault. Completed 16 of 31 passes. Finished with a passer rating of 50.6, but it was 19.5 before a garbage time scoring drive. Obviously, the Steelers are still in first place in the AFC North, but now the Ravens are charging hard behind them. No pun intended, because they played the Chargers last night. But now the Ravens are doing their thing, winning a game on the road in Minnesota, where they made it look pretty easy because now that Ravens defense has suddenly found another gear. Here's why I'm a little concerned about Rodgers. First of all, you're right. This is not a great offense anyway. And Jaylen Warren got going a little bit in the third quarter with the run game, but they didn't do enough at the trade deadline to try to get another weapon. Man, would the Steelers love to have George Pickens right now. I mean, seriously, I know he was a headache for them, but he's been awesome in Dallas. So you're kind of a weapon short. That's obvious. And if you're not, your defense actually played well in this game. Justin Herbert was harassed. He was sacked 5 times. Mm-hmm. You can't waste these good defensive performances. I mean, through 3 quarters, the Chargers at 15 points. This is the way that the Steelers want to win games, and the offense just completely let them down.
Yeah, through the first 29 minutes, they had 5 points.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a 3-2 for most of it. I mean, they shut them down completely. But I will give you this. The Steelers at the Chargers is one of the hardest games on their schedule. The Chargers, don't look now, are 7-3. I know they have injuries, but they do have Justin Herbert, and their defense looked really good last night. So the Steelers are going to have a bunch more wins on their schedule. Just check it out. So I think that, I keep saying this, universe wants Mike Tomlin at 10 wins. That was the expectation coming into the season. That's going to be the expectation going out of the season. And I know it looked really bad last night, but they will find a way to get back there. I mean, honestly, one thing you have to remember, too, is that you saw the bones. The defense struggled. Remember, they got lit up by the Bengals? I feel like the defense is back, so they're going to win some games. And Rodgers just has to execute. He wouldn't let go of the ball last night. He looked like Daniel Jones or Justin Fields. It was a strange night. I'm not willing to say he hit a cliff yet.
Are we watching what could be the beginning of the end here for Aaron Rodgers? 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. I also, quarterbacks like who are older, who get to play in warm weather and don't look good. I'm like, well, what's this going to look like when it's December in Pittsburgh? Well, hold on one second. Yeah. So here's Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, who, has a way of talking to the media that is very different from every other coach. Sometimes you kind of feel like you can read him like a book, and sometimes you have no idea what he's really getting at. I think last night, you knew what he was getting at. So here's Tomlin being very short with whoever asked him this question, a reporter, asked him what he thought of Aaron Rodgers' performance.
How would you assess Aaron's performance tonight? How would you? Next.
Yeah, I mean, we're far from Mike T's the man. Is the honeymoon kind of over here, Pearl, for Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin? Because this was, remember the whole thing about even signing late in the offseason, but it's I trust Mike Tomlin. I want to play for Mike Tomlin. And listen, nobody should be happy after you lose a game like this, of course. But, for Aaron Rodgers, it seems like it's always kind of teetering. Like his relationships seem like they could be great 1 minute, not great the next minute, and this is now something officially on my radar, something I'm watching. The Rodgers, Mike Tomlin, is the honeymoon over?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Mike Tomlin, just a little bit about Mike Tomlin, too. He falls out of love with quarterbacks, right? Because he liked Justin Fields, then he fell out of love with him. Then he put in Russell Wilson, and he fell out of love with him.
Yep.
Because Mike Tomlin is deep down a defensive guy.
Sure.
So, I think it's a combination. Yeah, I think it seems like a repeat of last year. Although that being said, I think last night was a bit of a one-off. I don't think Mike Tomlin would have said that if he was really, really concerned about Rodgers.
I don't know. Sometimes Tomlin, he obviously can play the game. He knows what he's doing. He's been in the game for a long time. But I think you catch guys with a little bit of, truth, actually. I know we always think that guys are lying every time they're talking into a microphone or a podium, but he could have sugarcoated that.
How could you sugarcoat last night? It was clearly awful.
No, but if you think it's a one-off, if you think it's a one-off, hey, we were just out of sync. But that's not who Aaron Rodgers is, and that's not who he's going to be going forward. Instead, we got a no comment, and we got a sarcastic. How do you think he played? I mean,
we do not care.
He could have been more tactful if he didn't. You don't have to send a message to Aaron Rodgers. He knows he played like garbage last night.
That's what Tomlin's like. I don't think Tomlin's basically like, you saw the game. Of course he was bad. And I think Tomlin was implying Aaron Rodgers knows he was bad last night. No, there's no mystery around this. If he had said, well, we're going to go look at the tape, then I'd be worried. Basically Tomlin being honest here gave me some relief. Everyone in the building knows that was a garbage fest offensively.
Yeah, it was.
So in a normal situation, say it was a functional situation, 10 years ago, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Tom Brady, for some reason, had an awful game. And somebody asked Bill Belichick how he played. He'd say, you saw the game, it was bad.
Yeah.
If there's enough confidence and enough stability there, then you can admit that it was a bad game. But what you're saying is you're not sure that underlying stability is there.
Well, I'm curious now. Let's just put it that way. I'm more curious about it now than I was after they beat the Colts. Let's just let me say that.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so let's hear a little bit more from Aaron Rodgers. EJ, can I please have cut 6? Now, here's Rodgers talking about how, despite how bad he played, and he owned it all last night, so don't think that Rodgers was escaping any of the smoke. He said the Steelers are in a good spot. They just need to bounce back.
We got to bounce back. We got a division opponent next week. We're 5-4. We're ahead by a game in the division, and we got to play better on offense for sure. But this is part of the season. There's ebbs and flows. There's ups and downs, and we can't ride the wave.
Okay. Well, things are, not exactly yellow brick road here for the Steelers. It's the Cincinnati Bengals next. Now, they should be able to score on the Bengals, that's for sure. Then you're going to Chicago, which Rodgers has owned, but with a different team. And when he was at the Packers, and somehow Chicago keeps pulling these last-second wins out of their place where the sun don't shine. We'll get to Caleb Williams in just a little bit. Then they have a home game for Buffalo. They still have Baltimore twice. They still have to go to Detroit. They still have a game. I mean, what's Miami? Are they suddenly spry? I have no idea. So
Miami in Pittsburgh in December. If they can't win that game, I mean, they're not winning any game.
Primetime game. Monday night game.
Yeah, I mean that they should be a touchdown favorite in that game.
I would think so, but Buffalo was an 8.5-point favorite yesterday.
Yeah,
they went down to Miami and got their butts kicked. So
I'm liking everything. Yeah, I know, but Miami in December in Pittsburgh. I mean, we've seen that movie. I think their schedule beats. Mike Tomlin always beats the Ravens once. Isn't that a thing? So I don't know. I feel like Rodgers is right. We're 5-4. We're in a decent position. I don't think this is a division-winning caliber team. I don't think you do either. But the record is a record. 10-7. Just get used to it.
yeah, see, but that's the other part of this. If we just go one level deeper here, and we'll get to the Chargers side because I asked Perloff before the show, are there any good teams in the AFC? No clue. And you said the Chiefs, who are on a bye. Like I don't know if even the Chiefs are actually a good team. I think they can lose to anybody. They just lost to Buffalo, who just lost to Miami.
Yeah, but that's regular season. I still think that, what's the old cliche? The season starts at Thanksgiving. I think the Chiefs are good. I think your Bills are better. Yesterday was a total anomaly. The ball was very slick in Miami. He couldn't throw the ball. Yeah, I mean, listen, I saw the ball go through everybody's hands, except for the Dolphins' hands.
Yeah, no, they were fine.
Because Tua throws the ball about a mile up in the air and it comes down. Where Josh Allen's, the whole game was neutralized and they were hot and they probably went out. I get it.
They probably went out. Just stay out. Just stay at the club. Don't even bother showing up to the stadium if that's what the kind of crap you're going to put out on the field. But that's a little bit different. We'll talk about the Chargers, whether or not their defense kind of found something yesterday, or was it just Rodgers being so bad? But to the point of, you've seen this script, same old story. Steelers are going to be a 10-win team, and I think you're implying getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs.
Right? I would think so, yeah. Okay. This is not, if people thought this was a formula to take the next step, I agree with you. That is not happening.
Okay, so that's what is this all for then? Like, what if they've been doing this thing where since Ben Roethlisberger retired, which is either journeyman, late round picks, guys who are generally backups who they're kind of masquerading as starters. You took a swing with Kenny Pickett, kinda, because he was in your own building, so you just went basically with a familiar guy in a bad quarterback draft, and that didn't work out because, as you said, Mike Tomlin falls out of love with quarterbacks pretty fast.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because I said he has small hands.
Well, maybe. I mean, maybe it does go back to the small hands. What do I know? And then you now are taking swings with retread Russell Wilson, retread Justin Fields, and now the future Hall of Famer and Aaron Rodgers. Like, if you're the Steelers and you're their fans, every which way you've tried to do this with a quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger retired has come up snake eyes for you, because the goal is not just to get to the playoffs. The goal is to win playoff games. You're the Pittsburgh Steelers, for goodness sake.
But we're sitting here, it's November. Why would you have not said this in July and August? I mean, did you think it was going to be anything different? I mean, did Steelers fans in an honest moment? Really?
Yeah, because I thought Rodgers, maybe 2 years off the Achilles. You do have a run game. Like, I don't know. Then they make the trade for DK Metcalf. I'm like, damn, this is very different for the Steelers. Usually they're trading their wide receivers away, which they did with George Pickens, to give up the draft picks and then pay DK Metcalf. I was like, all right, maybe there's a little something. They're doing things a little differently. Damn.
Really? They do things exactly the same. They got an old quarterback.
I'm saying the weapons around. Like,
I mean, listen, the odds did not reflect anything different. The odds had them about 12th or 13th in the league because. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. They're just this is Mike Tomlin. This isn't about Aaron Rodgers. If we had our friend Andrew Filipponi on, I'm sure he's getting calls be like, are we still doing this with Mike T? Because right now, he's a very good coach. He will win games, but he is not building a Super Bowl team. You nailed it. Like, they keep on doing these journeyman quarterbacks. Like, they need a quarterback. You need a quarterback in the NFL to have sustained success and to get to the next level. And they have to draft somebody. They have to get bad. They've tried to avoid the rebuild, and you can't do it.
Remember, was that last week when Rodgers was basically calling the shot of like coming back next year too?
That was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, well, that was the Steelers talking about they may want him back next year.
Yeah. I mean, listen, not to overreact to one game, but 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. I actually know, and it's not that hard to figure it out, the one quarterback, Pearl, who's going to have the best offseason of any quarterback, a guy who's going to be the next reclamation project.
Who's that?
I mean, I'll just say it right now because we're in the Bay Area. It's Mac Jones. And they lost yesterday. They lost to the Rams, and there was a moment in the game where it felt like, 49ers were coming back. They were down, felt like by 3 scores before you could blink. came back. I think they cut it to 10 with plenty of time left. They go for it on a 4th and 4. The pass gets broken up, falls to the ground. Rams take it the other way, score a touchdown. It was kind of too hard to overcome at that point. But Mac Jones looked really good, and we know he's dealing with multiple injuries, but he put up 300 yards yesterday over the Rams.
Yeah,
he's going to be the next guy. Darnold, Dan Jones, the same, that kind of Baker Mayfield. Someone's going to hand Mac Jones a bunch of money. Yeah,
you're assuming he gets out of San Francisco. We've seen San Francisco change their mind on quarterbacks before. By the way, the Steelers were lower than I thought. They were 16th in Super Bowl odds coming into the season. I don't think everyone thought, okay, maybe they got something with Aaron Rodgers, but did anyone really think Aaron Rodgers was going to get them all the way? No, and that's where we are with the Steelers. Like, we're not talking about them as a Super Bowl team like we did in prime Big Ben, and that's really the problem. Like, Maggie, they need to rebuild. They need to just rip the Band-Aid, not bring Aaron Rodgers back next year. They need to go 3-14. I hate to say it, or bring in a new coach, and I love Mike Tomlin. I think a million teams would jump on him.
Totally.
But it gets old, right?
Maybe. 888-710-4ISN. I can't believe that until I see it. I mean, this is a franchise that 3 head coaches. I mean, think about it. There are some franchises that have had 3 head coaches in the last 3 years, 4 years, something like that. It's like the revolving door.
And it's worked well. I mean, listen, we can't fault the Rooneys for their strategy. They have a lot of rings.
That's true. 888-710-4ISN. So a couple things on the table for you. And it's funny, Pearl, you mentioned the Super Bowl odds and the Steelers were 16th. It's all well and good, but the Steelers weren't talking about themselves that way, right? It felt like there was a moment in the summer, and granted, it's just like a little bit of a hype tour, but Pat McAfee show comes to town, right? Pat goes to his hometown, sets up at Latrobe, or close to his hometown, sets up in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, famously the Steelers training camp site, and it looked like they were having a Super Bowl parade. And
they were fired up.
Exactly, and I'm not going to fault people for being excited about a football season starting, but that seems now like that was way premature.
It was kind of a bromance.
888-710-4ISN. Who is looking worse here? Are you worried more about Aaron Rodgers? Are you worried about this sort of cliff out in the distance? Maybe not so much in the distance. Maybe getting a little closer for Aaron Rodgers at the end. And who's the good team in the AFC? Great. Yeah, that deserves a pause. 888-710-4ISN. So much to do on this Monday. You guys know the drill. If we're not talking about your team and your game, holler. 888-710-4ISN.
All right, Maggie, I keep saying this, and I really believe it. This is the best time of year. I know EJ's a spring guy. You could go either way. But when you have Prize Picks, it's so awesome because you got football, you got basketball, you got hockey this time of year. You can go into soccer, gaming. It's all on Prize Picks where you can get paid for being right. And right now, you can keep the season rolling by getting $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. It's so simple to use. Just pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projections, and if you're right, you could win big.
Okay, how about tonight, Pearl? Your Philadelphia Eagles in action against the Green Bay Packers. It's going to be a fun one in Lambeau. So how about, I'm going to go Jordan Love, 228.5 passing yards, Pearl. I'm going to go more than. I think he can throw a little bit on you guys. I'm gonna not go with Saquon Barkley. I'm actually going to put that together. This is a Perloff special. I'm going to put it together with Victor Wembanyama. Wemby tonight, Spurs facing the Chicago Bulls, 26.5 points. I'm going to go more than for Wemby. And this is why we're obsessed with Prize Picks. Super fun, available in 40-plus states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. It's just so simple to use. Come play along with us. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code M&P and get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code M&P on Prize Picks to get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. So win or lose, you get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
You're in a 4-minute break. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. We're basically asking, is there any good team in the AFC? Or what's the question? Who's the best team in the AFC? Because listen, somebody's got to really come out of that conference and get to the Super Bowl. I think.
Yeah, it's contractually obligated.
The analytics say that somebody will win the AFC title game. I still think.
Analytics say.
Yeah, let's not overthink it. I mean, come on. I don't care how many regular season games KC loses. As long as the Chiefs are in the playoffs, I'm going to assume that they are the team to beat, Maggie.
Yeah, but not even close right now in terms of like what the standings will tell you. But I'll agree with you. Obviously, they've got the rings. They've got the battle scars. But you know, the Broncos have 8 wins in their own division, and the Chargers last night got to their 7th win.
Both very good, but somewhat flawed team. The Chargers have all these offensive line injuries, which actually we did see show up last night. And the Broncos, I mean, the Broncos are great in the last 6 minutes of a game. The other 54, you have no idea what you're going to get.
Major question. All right, let's go to the phones. We're asking a couple questions about last night's Sunday Night Football game. Is the romance, bromance, whatever between Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin suddenly fading because Rodgers was not good last night and Mike Tomlin did not hesitate to no comment when asked about Aaron Rodgers' performance?
Mike T is the man.
Kind of a snarky, what do you think, Mike, Aaron Rodgers looked like? That's never good. And then also, who's the best team in the AFC? JT's in Atlanta. Good morning, JT. What's good?
Good morning. Happy Monday to you guys. Hey, I just want to say, in regards to the Steelers, there's a couple of things that I see as the problem, and it's not, Mike Tomlin, and it's really not the talent, because we've seen Aaron Rodgers make mediocre wide receivers look good before. It's two things. Aaron Rodgers is right now the Clayton Kershaw of the NFL, right? Like he's a guy that used to have it, but he doesn't have it anymore, and he's trying to get guys out with the 90-mile-an-hour fastball. He was on DP talking about this, where he just knew he couldn't continue to do this. But Aaron doesn't know that yet. He hasn't realized that he can't do what he used to be able to do. That, and then if you couple that with the fact that Arthur Smith is his offensive coordinator, like who didn't see that was never a marriage that was going to work? Because when is Arthur Smith, besides when he had Derrick Henry as a running back, ever been considered the captain of a good offense? And he doesn't have a Derrick Henry there. So then what does he do? I've seen it in Atlanta firsthand. It just, I don't know if he's got a fastball, but he doesn't have a changeup. He doesn't have a curve. He doesn't have anything else besides run the ball with a great running back, which he doesn't have. So the offense is unimaginative, and Aaron Rodgers is not the same guy. And that's the reason why the Steelers are not going to,
JT, it's a great point. Thank you so much for making it. Great to hear from you on this Monday. Yeah. And it's funny because teams are falling all over themselves to hire Arthur Smith. I mean,
really?
Yeah, the Steelers did. The Jets wanted him. North Carolina, the Tar Heels wanted him, right? Like,
I know. Wait. I knew you were going to say North Carolina. Wait, the Jets wanted him to coach?
Yes.
The head coach.
They want him to be their offensive coordinator, I thought.
Yeah, I know. So you just said two of the most dysfunctional programs in the history of football, the Jets and North Carolina.
Well, I mean, but then the Steelers, who may be the most consistent.
Yeah, but also who just fired Matt Canada. They don't know what they're doing either on offense. This, by the way, I'm not going to blame Arthur Smith. I'm blaming Mike Tomlin because he's the one. Mike Tomlin had to be forced by ownership to fire Matt Canada. So whatever. There's something fundamentally wrong with the offense here. But there is a cavalry coming. You guys don't know about the big signing? MVS is headed to Pittsburgh in a couple days.
Really?
Yeah, they have Marquez Valdez-Scantling on their practice squad.
I wish I had crickets over here.
Wow, everything's fixed. Okay,
I mean,
catch the fever. He's only good when he plays for the Chiefs.
No, he's only good when Aaron Rodgers is throwing to him.
All right, whatever.
What's the other guy? What's the guy who was on the Jets?
Alan Lazard.
Alan Lazard.
He's still there.
He's where?
With the Jets.
He can't, basically, but the Jets are going to cut him. He's going to get MVS and Alan Lazard, and he's going to recreate the 2021 Green Bay Packers.
What's Randall Cobb up to these days?
I'm shocked he's not on is he on this? Wait, let's Google it because he might be on the Steelers roster.
That worked out really well for the Jets in 2023.
I feel like Randall Cobb is now a stay-at-home dad who's handing out Halloween candy to kids.
Or he's like a punt returner on the Steelers. I mean, he's going to get the gang back together. MVS first. Lazard will get cut by the Jets. It's all happening.
They're going to make a deal with Devontae Adams. He's going to be the first player in NFL history to play for two NFL teams. He's going to spend half his time with the Rams and half his time playing with Aaron Rodgers.
Meanwhile, he was on the sidelines yesterday. It didn't matter. The Rams were in control and comfortable, but I think I saw one of the internet doctors, David Chow, whatever, said he thought it was a back issue.
Well, they said he pulled his oblique, right? He could come back in the game if he wanted to. But he looks amazing. He ain't leaving Matthew Stafford ever.
No, nobody ever should. Ramon's in Indianapolis. Ramon, who's the best team in the AFC?
Good morning. My favorite morning crew. I appreciate that. And Maggie, you hit him on the head. First of all, I knew this Aaron Rodgers experiment was going to be terrible. Pittsburgh should have drafted Shedeur Sanders and went through the regrowing process or rebirthing process like everybody else is going through, like you have to do. You just have to do it. Perloff, you've talked about it many times. Most in this modern NFL, you're going to patchwork. It's going to be very rare. Matthew Stafford and Tom Brady are the only two quarterbacks. Well, if you want to take a man from Philadelphia, 17, what was his name that won, beat Brady?
Nick Foles.
Three guys.
Nick Foles.
Yes, Nick Foles. Those three guys in the last 15 years. And it's not a high percentage. We know Stafford was good leaving Detroit, and he still would have some prime in him. You can look at him yesterday and he's still a prime quarterback, and Tom Brady was Tom Brady. So other than that, Foles may have been an offshoot, but you're not going to grab 40-year-olds and win. Pittsburgh never did that. The best team is the Colts. That running game and Jonathan Taylor now. Jonathan Taylor's the MVP in the league. Daniel Jones is making us all shaky, but Jonathan Taylor is bailing. He's bailing them
Ramon,
out.
now you understand where New York fans were like, really, Daniel Jones? Because he's never met a turnover he didn't like. Great to see you and talk to you, Ramon. Thank you so much for that. When Ramon actually said something about the Steelers needing the rebirthing process, that sounds painful.
Is that a word?
No, but it brought me a little
PTSD. You can only be birthed once, I believe.
Thank God.
Yeah, I don't agree on the Colts, by the way. And, I love Ramon. But
yeah, of course.
I just don't think that. I think we saw a flawed team. Basically, the schedule gets really hard. Like, they beat Atlanta and Germany, I know. But they have Kansas City, Houston, we'll see, at Jacksonville, at Seattle. There are a lot of real games coming up for the Colts. I think that I don't know what Atlanta is. Like, are we impressed with a win over Atlanta?
I can't even imagine how painful that must have been for Atlanta fans. Yesterday, the Patriots game before that, you lose because you can't get the extra point. I thought yesterday that game in Germany, there's a drive that the Colts have at the end of regulation, right, to go try to tie the game, which took them to overtime. And I thought Ty Warren caught the ball and fumbled the ball. And they called it an incomplete pass, challenged it, the whole deal. I still thought the call was wrong. And the Falcons have to be like, what the hell?
We talked about this call. I have no idea what you're talking about. In real time, like that was out of his hands really fast. I mean, Pereira thought it was a drop. Like, if that was in the end zone, there's no way they gave him a touchdown. He was fumbling it all over his shoulder pads.
I felt like he was wrapped up with the defender. They're like both standing up. And then all of a sudden it's like one Mississippi, two Mississippi. Kind of feels like they're doing football moves to me. And then the ball ends up on the ground. The
ball hit him in underneath the arm, then ended up on the other side of his helmet. But yeah, no, I mean, the culture. And you keep talking about these poor Falcons fans. Have you ever met a Falcons fan?
Yeah.
Really? I haven't been down in Atlanta recently, but I see a lot of G's on hats. I don't see a lot of birds on hats.
Well, thankfully, and they had Georgia put together a good old-fashioned butt kicking on Mississippi State.
Like, they'll take Georgia, I think. Like, right now, they're fine. And Georgia Tech is kind of good, too. I don't know. I just feel like Falcons fans, it's a big party down in the stadium, but I don't think it's a huge fan base. And I think this is why, because they keep frustrating everybody.
Let's get this. Chris Lopresti is in with us this morning on Updates. What's up, CeeLo?
Good morning. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. Download Prize Picks. Use code PRIMETIME. Get $50 bonus credit instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. So the Week 10 NFL Sunday wraps up last night in L.A. Chargers had their way with the Packers, good Lord, the Steelers. That's my Aaron Rodgers on the brain. 25-10 the final. Late in that game with the outcome in hand, Keenan Allen goes to head coach Jim Harbaugh, looking for a second catch to break Hall of Famer Antonio Gates' record for most catches in Chargers history, and it was Allen drawing up his own play, apparently.
He was like, "Hey, we trying to get it to you. We ran the smoke. We did this, we did." I'm like, "Hey, just run the speed sweep. That's the easiest catch I can get. It's like a guaranteed catch." So, and then he told G-Ro on the headset, and they actually called me a genius. Like, dang, I did not think of that. You mean to tell me you didn't think of that? Like, what's up, bro?
So he called his own number. He got his record. Gates was in the house, and away they go.
I saw that. I was like, oh, yeah, Antonio Gates. Tough week.
I was surprised he was there.
Yes, so was I, because he was somebody who was not federally indicted or anything, but he was someone who's now been linked to this gambling scandal where he was one of the famous people who brought unsuspecting patsies into these rigged poker games. Right. Maybe, all alleged.
He was pretty happy last night.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I love when a guy passes over a record and the guy's happy for him. I'm a sucker for that.
Well, they obviously crossed paths and were teammates for quite a while.
Yeah, so. Keenan Allen has been around.
Yes,
he's been around since Dan Fouts.
Longer than we realized. Yes.
They invented poker, then Keenan Allen started playing football.
Steve Young in the Super Bowl.
Eric Coryell loved Keenan Allen.
On the other side of things, as you guys were discussing, not a good night for Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh offense. They got the late window dressing touchdown. He was sacked 3 times, couple of interceptions, 3 turnovers total for Pittsburgh. Here was Rodgers after the game.
Defense played really well tonight, and offensively we were pretty bad. So we got to find a way to get open on third down. I got to find a way to hit them, and because that was just some bad ball.
Said he's got to play better, and apparently he will. So we'll see about that as the Steelers fall to 5-4. Chargers improve to 7-3. Late afternoon window was pretty one-sided. For the second time in less than a week, the Seahawks just boat raced their opponent in the first half.
3rd down and 12. Brissett gets hit again. Ball bounces. Are you kidding me? It goes to D-Law again. Another touchdown. Seahawks. Holy catfish. Lightning strikes twice for the Seahawks defense.
Seahawks radio, you don't get the catfish reference too often these days, so that was nice of him there. As DeMarcus Lawrence had his second fumble return touchdown of a Jacoby Brissett strip sack in the opening 16 minutes of the game as Seattle built a big lead. They went on to beat the Cardinals 44-22. They are 7-2, and that sets up a matchup with the 7-2 Rams next week after LA took care of the 49ers 42-26. Matt Stafford now has 3 consecutive games with 4 or more touchdown passes as he passed 400 for his career, 9th QB in league history to do that. I just saw this flash on the screen and I didn't believe it for a second, but then I remembered all those losing years with the Lions. Yesterday's win for the Rams finally puts Matt Stafford at 500 for his career as a starting quarterback.
Yeah, it sounds
crazy,
odd, but then when you think about it, it's like, well, there was a couple seasons there with Detroit.
A lot of losing in Detroit, yes.
I mean, it still sounds odd because he's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah. He is 115-1 now as a starting quarterback.
Seasons he had to play with the best coach in the NFL, arguably just to get to 500. That's how bad those years were in Detroit.
Yeah, to 500. We're not even asking for like the best winning percentage ever. We're asking for 500.
Yes. Speaking of his former team, the Lions, Dan Campbell takes over play calling duties from first-year offensive coordinator John Morton, and they ripped up 44 points against the Commanders in Landover. Jared Goff, 320. He had 3 touchdown passes, including one to Jahmyr Gibbs, who also had 142 yards rushing and a couple of touchdowns on the ground. Scott Zolak, Patriots Radio, I would say summing up their road win in Tampa yesterday.
Holy crap. What balls?
Yeah, he did say that on the air during yesterday's broadcast as they beat the Bucs 28-23. A little bit of a coming out party for the rookie Trevion Henderson at a 55-yard rushing score on the opening possession of the second half, and then the game-sealing 69-yard touchdown rip late in the fourth quarter, 147 yards total on the ground for him as the Pats improved to 8-2. Jackson Dart, a concussion for the Giants. He left the game early. That opened the door for the Bears to come back and beat the Giants 24-20. Caleb Williams, the go-ahead 17-yard rushing score plus a TD toss to Rome Odunze. And speaking of comebacks, what went on in Houston? 26 unanswered in the fourth quarter for the Texans, including the go-ahead 14-yard rushing score by Davis Mills with 31 seconds left as they come back to beat the Jaguars 36-29. Liam Cohen basically throwing the headset down on the sideline at the end of that game.
The fact that game got close and then Davis Mills with the wheels.
Yeah. I was shocked by how fast. But there was a play at the very end of the game. There was a fumble on the last play of the game, and the Texans defender ran in the end. So it was holding the ball out.
Yep, classic mistake.
Did anybody have, and Maggie, you're a Bills fan, so I know that you understand what can happen. The Jaguars defender ran out, knocked the ball off, and landed on it. I was terrified that the Texans blew the game on that play. Because guys, and it happens everywhere. And Jonathan Taylor runs into the end zone for the winning play in Germany and then throws the ball down 1 foot in the end zone. Why are players throwing the ball down, barely getting over the end line? It's killing me.
If I was a coach in training camp, I would have spent at least 15 minutes in one practice being like, we're just going to run through the end zone. Catch the ball and just run through the back of the end zone with the ball. Just keep going.
There's just something weird about the fact that there's been 2 very high-profile instances. Was A.D. Mitchell was the first one, and Amari DiMercato was the second one, right? Literally lost touchdowns and lost. I don't know if the Colts lost the game on that. They might have. Yeah, that was the Rams game, right? Anyway,
that's the game they lost.
That was the game they lost.
Yeah, he's now a Jet.
It's just so weird. Congrats, DJ.
He's an undefeated Jet, I might add, but go ahead.
True.
But here's the thing, somehow those 2 plays that happened this season that's not even enough to scare guys. It's weird.
And even great players. I saw Mahomes he is barely over the end line and throws it down. If I was Jonathan Taylor at the end, the early game, I would have taken that ball back with me to the States. I would not let go for another 16 hours.
You want to know what it is?
For the day he had. You want to hang on to that football.
I know.
Good point.
He is the MVP right now. But I think Stafford will ultimately win it. But here's the thing. Everyone's worried about the celly.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the celebration, Pearl.
Yeah.
It's like everyone has a thing. Do you see how many Rico Dowdle send-ups there were yesterday with, are we doing 2 pumps, 3 pumps.
Oh, that was great. That was awesome.
They're not watching the tape of Armani DiMarcado dropping the ball at the goal line, but they are watching the tape of everyone's celebrations. I think they're thinking of it.
Well, there's 2 terrible things. There's a dual idiotic things going in the NFL. One, throwing the ball out for the celly. The second is on interceptions, wide receivers not touching the defender when he's down. It is a plague that is killing. I don't know if anyone saw Justin Jefferson just screw his team over. If I'm a coach, this happens every interception. The defensive back is on the ground. The wide receiver just stares at him and does not touch him when he's down, and it kills me.
Yeah. Moping that he didn't catch the ball.
Yeah, I know. Jefferson, because it was a bad throw. Anyway, NFL, get your act together.
Yeah.
Players, that is.
Rough day for Maggie's Bills. They took it on the chin down in Miami, 30-13 for the Dolphins, who showed some fight. For,
she'll cut you
Mike
off right now. She'll cut your mic. I would be
will
careful.
not. It was worse than that. I think you're being kind.
Yes, they had a rough day. A lot of turnovers mixed in there as well. Perloff mentioned the Jets winning 27-20 over the Browns. That's 2 in a row for Aaron Glenn's team after the trades of Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. So they found a way with a couple of special teams touchdowns yesterday. And even the Saints got a second win as they beat the Panthers in Charlotte 17-7. Before the kickoff of the 1 Eastern games, you had the sad news about Paul Tagliabue, former NFL commissioner for 17 seasons, who passed away at the age of 84. He, of course, took over for Pete Rozelle back in 1989, was succeeded by Roger Goodell, who had a lot of nice things to say about him in his statement as far as Tagliabue being a mentor for him as he was coming up through the league. We also had the passing of Lenny Wilkens, Basketball Hall of Famer at the age of 88, both as a player and a coach on the Hall of Fame side. So a couple of high-profile folks in the sports world who passed away over the weekend. And then lastly, not to end on a controversial note, but you referenced Antonio Gates and the alleged gambling stuff. You had a little bit of a follow-up on the baseball side with Guardians pitchers Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz charged with fraud, conspiracy, and bribery stemming from their alleged scheme to rig individual pitches that led to gamblers winning hundreds of thousands of dollars. Ortiz arrested Sunday morning in Boston. He'll appear in court today. Clase apparently still not yet in custody, but very much involved in this whole situation there.
Yeah, they're going to find him. CeeLo, thank you. I actually have we have some thoughts on that new addition to this other gambling kind of scandal. We'll get to that in just a moment. CeeLo mentioned my Bills. Oh, boy. That was worrisome yesterday. We'll get to that as well. 888-710-4ISN. It's a Monday on the Maggie and Perloff show, which means we're drinking from the fire hose. Give us a call if you want to talk about your game. M&P. Football.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
In trouble! It's out! Touchdown! Wow! A miracle play! Unbelievable! Give him the Heisman Trophy now!
Wow. We got the full Gus Johnson on Saturday. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. That was Gus, Joe Klatt, Fox, calling that Indiana squeaking by Penn State, Pearl, in Happy Valley. And it was an incredible catch, throw and catch. I mean, the toe tap to get the touchdown late. Omar Cooper Jr. was the one who had it. How he got a foot down.
Amazing.
I mean, it's an all-time catch. But Gus just couldn't take it. He just couldn't hold. Because if you were watching the game and the final score was 27-24, and it was almost this massive upset from Penn State, but Gus was giving you the full Gus on every play. So this was a tighter game than anyone thought. He was doing this for everything. And so finally, like the Nicholas Singleton, touchdowns, he was going full Gus. Pearl, his vocal cords just gave out.
Yeah, I mean, Gus is obviously famous for these kind of calls. I think this, maybe I'm in the recency bias, this might be the most wild Gus call I've ever heard. I felt like his head was exploding. He could not handle he couldn't handle the drive.
Yeah, he just couldn't handle it.
He glitched. And it was amazing. Like, I mean, listen, we should have. Knowing Gus was on the call, we should have known that something crazy was going to happen in the final minute there.
Well, we're asking you now, which college team had the best win this weekend? And Indiana certainly could fall into this category. Now, they go to Penn State, who's obviously like the walking wounded with their head coach gone and all of that. But Penn State, they've been spry here the last couple weeks. And so Indiana gets the ball. They're down 24-20. They have like under 2 minutes left to go. And the first play of the drive is a Fernando Mendoza sack for 7 yards, a loss. Now they have no timeouts. He's got to go 90 yards, Pearl, all in the air, and he did it, and it was really amazing.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was the best win in the sense that, like, I think Indiana got exposed. I mean, I think they're going to win. They have Wisconsin and Purdue next. They're going to win those games. I think bettors, for example, are going to be down on them coming into the playoffs because they clearly aren't this juggernaut. I mean, they just went toe-to-toe with a terrible Penn State team. So, honestly, I think that was a kind of a down moment for Indiana coming out. I mean, the drive was crazy. They were going to make the playoff anyway. They would have been their first loss. But I don't know. I just wasn't wildly impressed with Indiana. I think that was maybe think twice about picking this team to win the whole thing.
Yeah, see, I didn't see it that way because I think Indiana's been outside of a tight game at Oregon, which they showed you they can win those tight games, Pearl. I was like, this is gritty. This happens to college teams. You go on the road. You've got a team that maybe feels like, all right, we've already hit rock bottom. We've got nothing left to play for except for putting good film on tape and trying to rally this thing. And there still are really good players on that Penn State roster. And you saw the good players really step up. As I mentioned, Singleton, you saw Deni Dennis Sutton on the defensive side. Like, these guys were really good in this game. And it's a classic trap game for a college team. And the fact that Indiana was able to pull this out, I was more impressed because, yeah, it's Penn State, but like, this happens. You go into hostile environments and you lay eggs, and they didn't do that. Now, maybe if you want to say most impressive was probably Oregon. I mean, they found themselves in an absolute dogfight. Anyone can go to Iowa and that Kinnick Stadium and lose. It was shaping up to be a classic Iowa win. Low scoring, ugly, it's raining, and Iowa had the lead late, and Oregon came back and basically just stole it.
Again, a bit of the same dynamic, though. Oregon probably will, thankfully, because of this win, make the playoff. I think they might have been out if they lost this game. Are you fired up to see Oregon in the 12-team playoff after this? Oregon came into this season. Remember, they lost Dylan Gabriel. They lost a lot of talent. They were number 6 preseason. They don't feel like a juggernaut either. There was a moment where Oregon felt, with Dante Moore quarterback, like the team. Both, I would say, Indiana and Oregon don't feel like the team right now. And I think Saturday, I walked away like, oh, those were close wins. But I don't know if they come down, they play Ohio State they'll probably play, one of them will play Ohio State, I guess, in the...
I think it's going to be Ohio State, Indiana in the Big Ten title game.
But if they play Ohio State in the playoff, the teams that I saw on Saturday are not national title contenders right now. Something about, by the way, Dante Moore, maybe it is the Iowa thing. He's really good. It feels like that number 1 overall buzz feels a little overstated. You saw him live at Rutgers.
Yeah.
He doesn't jump off the screen as Trevor Lawrence to me.
Well, but Trevor was like, walked on campus and was like the guy. No, it's not like that.
Yeah. And the whole team.
He was very good in that Rutgers game. He's not very big.
Yeah.
But no, he was good. Do I see number 1 overall pick?
Do you see Oregon the same way you saw them last year? Even last year, they were dominating.
Last year, they were number 1, basically wire to wire.
Yeah, I guess that's the bar I'm comparing Oregon against. And right now, Indiana, too, because Indiana had been murdering these bad teams. That's why I was so disappointed that it was such a battle against Ethan Grunkmeyer and the Penn State and Indy Lions.
Well, to be honest, I find these are good signs when you can win these ugly games. I say that as a positive because how many times watching college football our whole lives have we seen good teams go on the road to teams they should beat, and it ends up weird stuff happens, weather, whatever. And the other really impressive win I thought was A&M.
That one I was impressed.
Now Mizzou is on the third quarterback.
Yeah.
So, but that was a butt kicking.
Well, here's the thing though about you say that it shows something to win these close games. It's a sport where you're judged by margin of victory. So the sport's the only sport where it matters. Beating teams badly pays off. It's probably the only sport.
Yeah, style points.
Style points. It's the only team sport where you have that. So I don't know about these close wins. They make me nervous.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. We're asking which college team had the best win this weekend. Texas Tech, you could have put in there. That was a really, not fun for BYU. But Texas Tech may have shown that they are the class of the Big 12 with that $25 million roster or what have you.
Yeah.
They looked very good. Okay. 888-710-4ISN. You want to talk about your team? Let's go. Coming up, let's address the elephant in the room. We'll do that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
H-N the pistol back. They're pitching to him. Left
There he
side.
goes.
And there he goes. He's gone. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Miami.
H-N, have a day. Oh, my gosh.
Defensively, I thought we did some good things. And then we gave up 2 big runs towards the end there. So a lot to work on, a lot to improve. So we learned from it.
How many lessons does this team need to learn? Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. That was Dolphins radio, and then Bills head coach Sean McDermott trying to, I guess, find a silver lining. I thought the defense played well. All right. Final score was 30-13. Josh Allen didn't even finish the game, and it was just a debacle. We'll get back to the Chargers and Steelers from last night. Chargers win that one easily. Bad game for Aaron Rodgers. But, Pearl, this is the thing, and you guys know I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, and anyone who really follows the team was not fully surprised by what they saw yesterday. And maybe losing that way to that opponent, but how the Bills lost this game yesterday is actually not surprising if you are paying attention. That Devon Achane touchdown was just one of the incredible highlights that he had through the day. The Bills defense cannot stop the run for a variety of reasons, mostly injuries along the defensive line. And they had more injuries in the game yesterday, left them with 3 defensive ends, basically 3 defensive players that they could rotate through as far as, any resistance at the line of scrimmage. They can't tackle at the line of scrimmage. They are just awful stopping the run. And that's generally where most of their problems start. Then on the offensive side of the ball, if the Bills can't run the ball and James Cook can't do his signature stuff, and they were held to 86 yards rushing yesterday, stop me if you think this is insane. The game plan for Buffalo is to force them to be a passing offense, and that's when they're vulnerable, and you've got the reigning MVP. Make it make sense. They do not have enough weapons. There was a time when I actually thought the Bills did have enough firepower on offense. Like, you have James Cook, and you've got Khalil Shakir, and you've got Dalton Kincaid, and you should have Keon Coleman. It's not nearly enough, mostly because Coleman has been a bit of a disappointment. They turned the ball over 3 times. Josh Allen turned the ball over twice. It was the classic way that the Bills lose. This team is not as good as they think they are. The general manager made a huge mistake not adding at the deadline. They are not as good as they think they are. And they're so high on themselves. They come off like they've done something. They have not done jack. And meanwhile, the Patriots are now on the corner, for real. The Patriots already beat them once in Buffalo, Pearl, and forgive me if I'm getting emotional about this because the Patriots kicked our team's butt for 20 years. Finally, Tom Brady is out of town. You win the division 5 years in a row, but you keep losing to the Chiefs over and over again in the playoffs. You've got nothing to show for it, and now you're not winning this division. So all your home field advantage to the playoffs now completely in a blender, and this team has problems that I don't know how easily they are to fix. How dare you? How dare they? Josh Allen should not have to work this hard. How dare you?
When did the home field advantage with Josh Allen get them to the Super Bowl? I'm trying to remember here. Let me go through my notes.
But
I'd
rather
that's never
have
worked
them
anyway.
there, Pearl, because they can't play on the moon. So I don't want them to play in
Maybe
Kansas
that's
City.
what they
I'd
need.
rather
Maybe
them
they
play.
need a 2009 Aaron Rodgers. Maybe they are 10, and go on the road.
Yeah, well, whatever. It doesn't matter now. This team, the Patriots look like more of a Super Bowl contender than Buffalo does.
They kicked the Chiefs' butt last week. What happened there? I feel like you're getting caught up in 1 week. Do you know how hot it was in Miami? And I'll tell you how hot it was. Did you watch Syracuse-Miami, EJ, on Saturday?
That I did.
Did you see how much Fran Brown was sweating for Syracuse?
Oh my God!
Coach.
I mean, luckily he's jacked and he's got the tattoos and the chain. He looked cool, but it was hot out there.
I thought he was going to die. So they came in. It was high 80s for the Bills' offense. Dalton Kincaid, your best pass receiver, didn't know whether to put gloves on.
It was raining a little bit.
Yeah, it was raining.
Heaven forbid, guys. It rains sometimes.
It was hot. It was Miami. It was South Beach. This was an anomaly. And first of all, how many good teams have we seen go down and lose in that exact situation?
Well, the Ravens just went to Miami and kicked their butt.
How many good teams have Maggie? You didn't answer the question. You went on a different.
Yeah.
How many good teams have we seen lose at a hot day in Miami? And listen,
I'll
South
grant you
Beach is
that.
undefeated, and you know it.
Well, South Beach flew. If you're going to be out like that, which I think you have to question every single person, I'd love to know bed checks. who was where when? South Beach flew.
They were 10-point favorites. They probably thought they had it in the bag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got they are a team that has behaved like they've done something or like they haven't. This team plays down to their competition. That has been a thing during the Sean McDermott era, and it's just, to me, you thought it's one thing, Pearl, you go on the road, you lose to a division rival on the road in November. Like, yes, that stuff happens. But this is not any division opponent. This is one who you have owned since Josh Allen has been the quarterback, and a team that waved the white flag, essentially, at the trade deadline. Jalen Phillips is going to be suiting up for your Philadelphia Eagles today. The GM has been fired. The coach is a joke, a national joke. And he made them look stupid yesterday. Like, It's one thing to lose to a division opponent. It's another to get smoked and by a team that was 24th in, points scored, 24th in yards allowed. I mean, the Bills just had no business even being in a dogfight with them, but they always do this.
Miserable experience.
Miserable experience for me, Coach.
By the way, Bradley Chubb was not traded, and he looked really good. But that being said, I mean, we know the Dolphins are better than that. I mean, the Dolphins are way. Yeah, I mean,
they lost to the Jets.
Dolphins
they stink.
False.
I don't know. They kicked I'm looking at their schedule. They've had some really good games. I mean, they took the Chargers 29-27. They kicked the Falcons' butt 34-10. That Ravens game was bad last week. I'll give you, but it was a Thursday night game on a short week. They're definitely not as bad as a record. Like, Jalen Waddle is awesome, and Devon Achane is phenomenal. He's not just good. He's phenomenal.
Okay,
so
well, they lose
that's
all
a very
the time.
dangerous team.
Okay, so can I just go next level for a second? Because we're talking about the Bills losing in Miami. It was the most stunning, result of the weekend.
Sure.
And, now everything about, Bills winning the division. I mean, Patriots had a good win yesterday against Tampa, all that. But can I tell you the one part that kind of makes me incensed as someone who watches this in very, very, very closely? How dare you? How dare you? Down 7-0, Bills are. First quarter, okay? I'm taking it all the way back. They have a 4th and 1 at the 50, basically. They line up to go tush push. They fake, roll out of it, and Josh Allen goes for a all or nothing 20-yard pass downfield that gets broken up, okay? Batted down. Ends up setting up Miami in good field position, and they score off of that. They miss the extra point, but ends up being 13-0. Like, that's the part of it where I start getting ticked off at the offensive coordinator. Stop trying to get another job while you have this job. So many people have gotten rich off of Josh Allen, okay? The team, how many contracts have been handed out? How many coaches have left? Brian Daboll, others. So many people, and I know that's not a good example right now, but
you guys are total idiots.
So many people have gotten rich off of Josh Allen. Stop, offensive coordinators, stop trying to get your next job while you have this job. Stop being cute. Stop doing the stupid stuff. Just pick up a yard and win the game. And they can't do that sometimes. So that's like my next level, what really ticks me off as a Bills fan. But then they couldn't do anything.
So do you think they're toast for the season? The way you're describing them, this team has no chance.
But they're not a Super Bowl contender, and what else do you need at this point? This
Are
is
you
not
sure they're not a Super Bowl contender.
If
like,
you can run through them that way, how can you be a Super Bowl contender when your run defense is that much of a liability? And if you have to win games on offense, first of all, that rarely wins the postseason. But secondly, the offense is not good enough at this point to win games. So, you guys wonder, it's so funny. I love everyone on the show always makes fun of Maggie. You're always so nervous. You're nervous to play the Dolphins. You're nervous to play the Patriots. Come on. Yes, I am.
Well, I think the reality is the Bills' window may have closed. Like, I think that's because to me, if you're losing games like this, and Perloff is right, that going down to Miami, anything can happen. But you would think a team that has gone through what they've gone through, those tough playoff losses and everything, you would think they'd have a little more respect for the game. Like, to me, they didn't respect the game yesterday. To go down to a Miami team who's just, they have some talented players, but there's no business to get blown out. if you lose a close game, I think people say, okay, division rival, I get that. But to get blown out by the Dolphins.
That wasn't really a blowout.
It felt like it.
It was 16-0. And
they were down 23-6.
The Bills turned the ball over 3 times deep in Miami territory. Josh Allen twice. James Cook fumbled.
There was never a moment you thought the Bills were winning that game. I mean, they were out of it pretty much.
I did. I bet them all game long until. I mean, it was 60-0, and the Bills were driving in the fourth quarter. Like I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe because Miami blew a couple opportunities to keep the Bills hanging around, like missing an extra point.
No, I thought Buffalo. There was one moment when I thought Buffalo was going to win the game. It was an amazing drive that Josh Allen basically had to do everything and then some, and then he threw an interception in the end zone. I was like, all right, that's it. Now it's over.
Yeah, it felt like so. It was 60-0. The Dolphins should have been up 40-0, and then they got to. That was the play, by the way. What the heck was Josh Allen thinking?
I don't know. He shouldn't have to do that much. He's the MVP. I get it. He's an all-time player, but everything is on hard mode for the Bills. Everything, and it's just it's crazy. Because there's no more like lovable loser. There's no more just happy to be here. There's no more, winning the division was enough. Like that, unfortunately, the expectations are just way too high. So for them to go and lay an egg like that is going to get people talking. It's going to get people really frustrated. And coming off of them doing nothing at the trade deadline. And Pearl, you wrote this in your Athlon column the other day about bold predictions for the second half. And you had a good line in your column, which was Brandon being the GM of the Bills getting annoyed that a younger GM wouldn't hand the Bills a great player, right? He's like, these young GMs, they feel like they're playing Madden and they're holding out for too much money. It's like, dude, make a deal.
Well,
make a deal.
Why don't you saw the report over the weekend was that they apparently called the Jets for Quinnen Williams.
Yeah, what's up with that?
He was taking a shot. It looks like at Darren Muji when he makes that comment. And, the Jets apparently, along with the Dolphins, were not going to trade within the division.
Yep.
So, the fact that, Perloff, that could have been more prophetic than anything. Because when I read that report, I was like, oh, my God, this is exactly what Perloff was talking about. I had no idea that he was actually literally talking about people he was trying to trade with. But clearly, he thought that the Jets should have just handed him over a game-changing defensive player, and that didn't happen.
I actually saw that report, too, and I thought, oh, my God, Quinnen Williams is everything the Bills need. Not to make you feel worse.
Yeah, but I actually respect the Jets for not trading him in the division.
Yeah, it's the right move.
It's the right move 100%. You have Quinnen Williams come back and rub it in your face. You guys are all going to be fired much faster than you think.
But, sorry, just real quick, Maggie, is there another – can't they get Quinnen Williams light, too? If you
they have guys. They've drafted their guys. They have their guys. Just a lot of them are hurt, like Ed Oliver and Hoyt. These guys.
To me, Ed Oliver is essentially Quinnen Williams for you guys, and he's not playing, so you're hoping he can replace him the rest of the way.
Well, and also, is he ever coming back?
Yeah.
Ed Oliver has a torn bicep, which is notoriously hard to come back from, and they're not even pretending like he could be back for the regular season.
Yeah, maybe the playoffs. You know what? Now, okay, so I generally do not buy your negativity around the Bills, but when you talked about, I think it was last week, you broke down the defensive injuries combined with the inability to stop the run, especially when they get to the second level. That's where they really run into trouble. Their back seven cannot. Achane was just running wild once he got past the line. So you're right, a bad run defense. Okay, I'm out too. I was kind of in when they beat Kansas City because I'm like, okay, But then again, Maggie, look around the AFC. That's the one issue. You do have Josh Allen, and you saw Josh Allen yesterday turn it on, and it was like, oh, boy, here we go again. He was running crazy against Miami. I thought Miami, I was yelling at the TV because I did want Miami to win, by the way. You can't go that far and not beat them. That would have been frustrating as a neutral fan. I think everybody was rooting for Miami to pull that one out. Sorry. But then I was like, Miami, why aren't you spying Josh Allen? He's running bananas. They wouldn't spy him. You have to spy that guy. That's why running quarterbacks can win some games. I'm telling you, if they're in the playoffs, they're not an easy out. You know that.
Of course they're not. But, this is the thing. They have these deficiencies. We're talking about the Bills here. And these deficiencies are ones that sink you in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They do.
The run. Yep.
Not being able to stop the run.
Bananas.
Cold weather. If they are outside, you're going to have, these running offense. And then if James Cook can't get going, then you can't even run the ball and keep these drives going. And if Dalton Kincaid leaves the game and all of a sudden your passing offense completely falls apart, that's a problem.
If the playoffs were today, they'd play the Chargers in the first round. And just my point is, there are going to be a lot of very close games in these AFC playoffs. And you do have Josh Allen, and we've seen the Bills not look great. I mean, we've seen the Bills have struggled in the regular season, turn around late. So please don't give up. We need you. I think Buffalo fans need you back a little bit.
888-710-4ISN. 888-710-4476. The chat is on fire right now. Go check it out. YouTube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, Twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network, where I love that Justin says starts in the trenches. Yes, it does, sir. You guys want to bring up all the times the Bills failed? Yeah, I'm going to think about alcohol. And I would have yesterday. Perfect timing there, EJ. I would have yesterday, but I had a big night Saturday night. I told you guys I was out with I had a girls' weekend, people in town. So yesterday I couldn't even, people are asking me, EJ, saying you were worried for my treadmill. And
yeah, seriously.
I walk on the treadmill when the Bills are losing because it helps me get the anxiety out. I was so tired. I couldn't even do it.
Treadmill safe for the weekend. I was like, oh man,
treadmill got a pass.
Yeah, that treadmill. I was like, it's up to. We were talking about in the break, Breece Hall and the speed they were running. I think Maggie's gonna hit the Breece Hall speed of 20 miles an hour on this treadmill.
But you guys also know I have gigantic feet, so sometimes I really get going. It's like I'm afraid I'm gonna break through the floor.
Thank God you're in a house and not an apartment building. Neighbors
I'd be
from
evicted.
4 floors down would be complaining.
We have our treadmill on the second floor. It's like in our bedroom, like right on the side. We should put it in the basement, but it's like right there.
Yeah.
Because now, like my husband's an engineer, and I always ask him, like, "Are you sure the treadmill's okay up here?" He's like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Do they? You know how earthquakes measure in California? They only have 1 floor. The Geiger counter. It's like Mag's on the treadmill. It's a 2.7.
All of a sudden, alerts start going off somewhere. Like, it's fine. Just the Bills are trailing. When they're down 1 score, it's like 1 Richter thing of the Richter scale. 2 scores, a little higher on the Richter scale.
Oh, it's fine. It's the playoffs. Don't worry. The Chiefs are in town.
Devon Achane just broke free. Remove all the china from the cabinets. 888-710-4ISN. Quickly, George is in L.A. George, your Rams looking real good yesterday.
Yes, Maggie, my condolences on your Bills, but the Rams are not playing around. Stafford's on a real heater right now, something like 13 touchdowns last 3 games, no interceptions. Definitely MVP candidate, even at his age, but they're just, you can tell they're just all business right now. I mean, they took care of the 49ers like they were nothing. And I know the 49ers got injuries, and now they're going to take care of the Seahawks. The Seahawks are good, don't get me wrong, but the Seahawks have a soft schedule, and I think they're going to get a reality check this Sunday against the Rams. But thanks a lot.
Yeah, I mean, George, I thought the one thing about the Seahawks is that tough. I mean, light schedule. Everyone in the NFC West.
Arizona gives everyone massive headaches.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, Arizona has hung in with these teams. Remember, they lost 4 games by 1 point or 2 points. Their margins have been so tight, and then all of a sudden the Seahawks just came in and it was 38-7 at half.
That was a weird game. I mean, listen, the Cardinals gave them 2 defensive touchdowns off the jump.
Yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence.
This is a big showdown, the Seahawks-Rams. I kind of know what George is saying. The Seahawks schedule, if you do look at it, has been kind of light. I honestly don't know what's going to happen. Because the Rams look amazing. Stafford's on this record run of touchdowns. They're a little bit TBD. I got to tell you, I'm dying for that game. I'm really curious to see. I lean Rams. Which way, if you had to put those 2 teams, I mean, we can do this later in the show, but it feels like there is a showdown happening there.
Well, I mentioned this on Friday when we did an exercise called Who is the MVP right now, but who will win the award? Yep. And I said Jonathan Taylor is the MVP right now, but Stafford will win the award. Wow. A, because they don't give it to running backs, but 2, because I think it's the one thing kind of missing from the Stafford, resume. And also, I think the Rams look like one of the best teams in the NFC. So it kind of comes together. And no, I think if the Rams, beat the Seahawks, I don't think anyone's going to hesitate to put them maybe in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, listen, though, we saw Devontae Adams is older, pulled his back, LeBron style, Andrew Perloff style. So the Rams have, to be serious,
someone
they
doesn't belong in that threesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, which one of these is not like the other?
You see, after I play hoops every Saturday morning, it's kind of the lower back. You know that feeling. The Rams are injury prone. They have been over the last several years. Stafford ain't young either, and he's taken some big hits, which is funny. I felt like he was on the brink of retirement. Now he's just hanging in the pocket forever. there's a lot going. There's a lot of season left, so we'll see. Jonathan Taylor, I'm saying, don't count him out of MVP either.
No, he's excellent. And yesterday in Berlin, he was phenomenal. It's the one thing I really can speak on from experience. Matthew Stafford getting that epidural, like, man, those things work. They do.
From childbirth.
Yeah.
A little bit of a different situation.
Well, yeah, I didn't have like a linebacker kind of like bearing down on me, but, pain's pain, bro.
Yeah. Were you ready to jump into a game after that?
Nope. I was ready to go home. 888-710-4ISN. All right, so I gave you my little Bills spiel there, my little Bills rant. And if you're watching this team closely, these types of games are not that shocking. It makes you go cuckoo. It was surprising the margin and the opponent. But to lose in the way they lost, turn the ball over 3 times, get run all over, that to me is not that surprising. 888-710-4ISN is why they're not a true Super Bowl contender, which pains me. Okay, coming up, Pearl, lots to do, including your guy, Fernando Mendoza, with a massive come-from-behind win. Indiana stays undefeated as they were in Happy Valley. We also have some Caleb Williams to unpack. Whoa. All right, I'm paying attention. Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson, and the fact that Dan Campbell has now taken play calling responsibilities over for the Detroit Lions, and all they did was go out and hang 44 on the Commanders. So we'll get to that as well. 888-710-4ISN, M&P. You guys want to bring up all the times the Bills failed? Yeah, I'm going to think about alcohol.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Every morning, half asleep and half alive, talking sports and chasing dreams, just trying to survive. Now the lights are out, the board's gone black, and Pete ain't coming, he ain't ever coming back. Yeah, the mics are cold, but the stories burn. We gave it all till the final turn. Goodbye, infinity. We rode that wave like a runaway train. Now the soundboard's silent and there's no more pain. Pete's finally free from the 9 to 3, sleeping in his glory, living a dream. Yeah, Pete ain't showing up, not today, not ever again. DA's laughing somewhere, raising a glass to the crew. We built a wild little empire, yeah, we saw it through. But Pete, oh Pete, he's a Hall of Fame ghost, clocked in twice a week, that's what he did most. He said, I'll be there soon, yeah, we've heard that line. Now he's punching out for the very last time. Goodbye, infinity. It's been one hell of a beautiful mess, talking tape and total stress. Pete's alarm's been dead since 24, and now we don't need it anymore. the static singing something kind of sad. But somewhere out there under the morning sun, Pete's sleeping like a man who finally won. Goodbye. We'll miss the noise, the late night fights, the countdown clocks and studio lights. But Pete's alarm is 6 feet deep. He's gone to dream and oversleep. Yeah, Pete ain't showing up. Not today. Not ever again.
30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff show. Kind of a blah NFL Sunday. A lot of blowouts. Not a lot of very well played football, in my opinion. Last night was kind of sad. It was 3-2 for half the night. And then there was a big 5-3 on the board for a long time. But the Chargers beat the Steelers. I got to tell you, it's that time of year, Maggie, where we were seeing odd results. I tend to believe that Bills loss to Miami was not really an indication of exactly where they were. But I got to tell you, you told me before the game, as you always do, why the Bills would lose, Lou Holtz style. And you kind of nailed the exact issues.
Yeah, they can't stop the run. If they can't run the ball, then they don't have enough weapons to beat you in the passing game, which is crazy considering of Josh Allen.
That's why they probably want to run the ball so much, is to protect that defense.
That's a great point. And the defense is also hurt, but they weren't great stopping the run when they weren't hurt. So there's some major, major issues. And we're asking you also, who's the best team in the AFC? Because last night, Chargers made a nice statement. Week before, Steelers beat the Colts. Colts find a way to keep winning these games. They won in Berlin yesterday in overtime. What was up with that stadium, by the way?
I thought it was really cool.
It seems so dark, though.
I think it was nighttime.
Yeah.
It's the day. It started at 9:30. Isn't it 6 hours ahead?
Yeah, but think about it. What time do you think it gets dark in Germany right now?
I don't know.
5 o'clock.
I know nothing about Germany.
I just looked it up. Sunset in Berlin today, so I figure it was similar yesterday. 4:20.
Yeah.
Oof.
So
And by the way, what time do you think it gets dark here?
Yeah,
Pretty
right
much
around
that
there.
time.
Yeah.
So it's November. We're about to reach the shortest day. Yeah, Maggie, that's called nighttime.
I just was like, why is it so dark over there? It's the morning, everybody.
You understand?
The sun has set.
You understand it was 9:30 your time. Yeah.
I'm drinking a cup of coffee, like, what? I can barely see.
Also,
I'm
too,
not an idiot.
I don't think that European
Debatable.
games are always lit for American television. They're lit for soccer or something.
I thought
and they always look dark.
corrected it.
Oh, really? Okay. But this, have they played here?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, next
No,
week
they
is
played in Munich last year.
Yeah. So Berlin was new, and next week is Madrid.
Madrid, yes.
Which will be interesting.
Yeah, Dolphins Commanders. Get excited.
Oh, jeez.
Catch the fever. Dolphins coming off a really big dub, though.
Yes.
There's a though.
Marcus Mariota.
There's nothing to watch
They
here.
can't wait to see Marcus Mariota in Madrid. Let me tell you.
Yeah, they're
They've been
huge.
waiting their whole lives for this.
Yeah, there's some huge Frankie Louvu fans over in Madrid.
God.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
CeeLo, what do you got for us?
All right. We are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. The annual Progressive Keys to Progress program provides vehicles to deserving veterans, helping our heroes drive their lives forward. Learn more at keystoprogress.com. So Sunday night football and the late afternoon window, as Perloff kind of just alluded to, pretty one-sided. So we'll give you some sound from the earlier games, and the slate began in Berlin, Germany. So you guys took me right there, where Jonathan Taylor capped a career day in style in overtime for the Colts.
Counter give to Taylor. Cuts at the 5. He's going to score. Touchdown. Walk-off. The Colts in Berlin with the walk-off touchdown by Jonathan Taylor with his third rushing touchdown today and an overtime
I don't know about everyone, but hey, that's Colts radio capping the victory, 31-25 in OT. So Taylor broke the Colts rushing touchdown record in this game. As he alluded to in the call there, he finished with 3 of them, 32 carries for 244 yards, including an 83-yard score, which was the longest run in the NFL so far this season. To Houston now, AFC South matchup between the Texans and the Jaguars. So Jacksonville's up 29-10 in the fourth quarter. They didn't score the rest of the way, and eventually this happened.
Mills, shotgun, marks to his left, 2 receivers, wide side right. Here's the snap. Davis looking. Davis stepping to his left. Davis on the run. 10. Davis 5. Davis to the corner. Davis! Touchdown, Houston! The Texans take the lead on the Mills scramble.
Texans radio, Davis Mills subbing for the concussed C.J. Stroud, 14-yard run there to put Houston ahead for good. They tacked on the fumble return score as time expired to stun the Jaguars 36-29. And then
I saw someone write this yesterday. I think it was at The Athletic, that this is the worst loss in Jags history. And I had to think for a second.
There's been plenty of them.
Yeah, I was like, well.
Oh, no, it was that. Definitely, Blake Bortles just missed to beat the Patriots.
That's what I was thinking. You had a lead in Foxborough in the AFC Championship game. Yeah. That's got to be the worst.
They were a hair from winning that game.
And they had a defense on the field, a great defense. I know it's Tom Brady, but a great defense on the field. You would think that that's what they want. And yeah, that was a brutal loss.
Jalen, who'd they have? They had
Ramsey. Miles Jack might have won that team.
Calais Campbell, I think, might have been there.
Very talented team.
Blake Bortles. They almost went into Foxborough and pulled
Blake Bortles had 35 touchdowns and 10 picks one year. That was crazy. But that was a brutal loss yesterday. I actually felt bad for Liam Cohen when he threw down his headset. That was very funny at the end.
That was bad for him. It's his fault.
Really? I don't know. I feel like Liam Cohen is very well. I mean, people are loving Liam Cohen. I feel like he's got a kind of a dud of a team around him sometimes.
Well, that's often the case for Jacksonville.
They got to build. They got to build a little more there. I don't love the way that roster is put together right now.
The quarterback's just not very good. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
he's fine, but
he's having a bad season too.
He hasn't had a great career.
And now that you look back on it, if they could have a mulligan on the Travis Hunter trade, any doubt they take it?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Lawrence, no Hunter, no Brian Thomas. Like, he didn't have his guys. But.
No, I get that. Just the more I've watched him in his career compared to what everyone said he was going to be.
But your bar is high for him.
Came into college, won a national championship right off the rip.
Yes.
And even when he's had Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter, it hasn't looked great.
Yeah, but that was listen, the drops, are they leading the league in drops by 50 miles this year? Even Brian Thomas has dropped. How many passes?
He has. He's on my fantasy team, so I know. So I've been following him very closely. But something just seems off about that entire offense. And you would think with Liam Cohen that would have got fixed.
I mean, he was
winning games despite it almost.
Throwing to Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington.
Well, they just traded for Jacoby Myers. They're lucky to have him.
Parker Washington had himself a day yesterday.
He did.
Touchdown catch and a punt return score.
And he had an Omar Cooper Jr. toe tap.
That's now the shorthand, the Indiana wide receiver.
There were a couple of NFL toe taps where people talked about the Indiana play.
Mm-hmm.
That was an all-time play. Just saying, if it can come to Sundays, that's awesome.
Yeah, if you have not seen... That's what it sounded like. Even Gus Johnson was losing his mind more than normal.
Yeah, which is hard. Speaking of bars being set high.
I don't even know, where does Gus even go from here? Did we peak yesterday? What do you do?
I mean, Gus always finds a drama. You do not have to worry about that guy.
So good.
Can I share my favorite trivia question with CeeLo that I shared with our audience last week?
Yeah.
CeeLo, do you know where Texans running back Woody Marks, who looked like he tore his Achilles and came back later in the game, do you know where he got his nickname?
No, definitely not.
So Woody Marks wore the same Halloween costume every year of his childhood as Woody from Toy Story.
Wow.
And that's why he is Woody Marks. That's all I got.
I like that he's stuck to that even as a grown man now.
Yeah, during the telecast they show his mom has pictures from 5, 10, 15.
It's not the same costume where he's all of a sudden it's busting at the seams.
Right. He gets much bigger. He's kind of a good little player. His name is Jaquavius. And
so he's going to be excited for the new Toy Story that's coming out next year then. I guess.
What?
Yeah, there's another one coming out.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, 5.
Toy Story 5?
You're breaking news.
Summer of 26.
I thought they ended it.
Toy Story is going to be like Fast and Furious. There's going to be like 20 of these things.
And somehow Vin Diesel will find his way into
And by the
franchise.
end of it, they're going to be in space.
Is Tom Hanks going to be
I was going to say,
it?
until Hanks and Tim Allen are, in the box for lack of a better phrase. I think they'll keep pumping
There's
these things
definitely a
out.
better phrase.
Well, AI will definitely keep
You have a
on
real
doing
way
it.
with words there.
That's what artificial intelligence was built for.
Right.
To keep Tom Hanks'
Especially
voice
with
alive.
the animated film, they can go on forever. That's a good point.
But I also feel like those two guys, you can definitely find voice actors who can do that.
Oh, but
like,
that's
people can impersonate Tom Hanks and
like the
Woody Allen.
SAG-AFTRA would
We've
have
seen
something to say
Simpsons
about that.
replacements work.
Yeah, but that would freak me out even more. Like, have it just be like a different.
Well, do you know the Secret Life of Pets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they replaced Louis C.K. got canceled, and they put in Patton Oswalt, and nobody knew anything.
Yeah, I mean, growing up watching cartoons, I mean,
Yeah, they're cartoons. They're kids. Like,
No, what are you talking about?
like, we
Secret Life of
didn't
Pets.
care
Me and CeeLo went to the theater to see that together. That's not a kid's movie. That's a huge
I'll tell
movie.
you, if anyone has kids around the age, my kid's like 6. CeeLo's got his kids about the same age. There's this show called Blippi. Blippi is like a clown that doesn't wear makeup and does all this stuff. He's got a little sidekick named Mika. There's been 4 of these chicks, okay? And my kid will watch videos back to back, 2 completely different women. He has no clue.
No, the kids don't know. Paw Patrol, too. They've cycled through them. You know.
But you're kidding me.
Well,
Paw Patrol has different people?
yeah. Well, think about it. The
Different
show was
voices.
on for a while. I mean, it's a kid voice. As they grow, their voice is going to change, get deeper, get older. They gotta cycle through the ages there. You
They
know?
even had to get rid of Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
She had to get replaced too.
Bart Simpson's been the same voice for the whole
Well,
Because
time.
that
it's an
person is
adult
actually
doing it.
40.
Yeah, but why do you think it's not that for the other ones? Paw Patrol could be an adult too.
No, but
No.
it was a kid, and then they had to replace the kid.
Oh, this is actually, you guys researched this.
So yeah.
I
I mean, I
have so
can't
many
tell you the
unfortunately.
names of the people, but yeah.
Paw Patrol, it's like
It's so bad.
they go back to the headquarters, they look at this video, and somebody's going down a mountain at 100 miles an hour, and they take 10 minutes to create a plan, and then fly halfway across the world, and still are able to save that person.
Yeah.
Explain.
My question
It's
is,
a kids show?
where's the damn police department and
Yeah,
the
where's the
fire
actual
department?
police?
We're going to leave this
The
to a bunch
mayor's
of
best
dogs.
friend is a chicken. What do you expect?
You were looking for it to be believable, the
Yeah.
show?
And the other mayor is like is the villain.
Yeah,
Humdinger?
the Monopoly guy.
Yeah, the
Humdinger.
Monopoly guy. Or someone else. But anyway, back to you, CeeLo.
Right. Let's go to Tampa. First place Patriots took the lead over the Bucks. Final play of the first half and then never relinquished it.
Second down and 9+ from the 31. High formation, toss left. Henderson has it. Travion gets outside. Goodbye to the 50, to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, to the house. Touchdown, Patriots. There's your ball game.
8-2, baby. Start the buses.
Head for the airport. Pats Radio with the decisive call there. 28-23 road win over the Bucks. Couple of long touchdown rips for the rookie Travion Henderson. Pats are 8-2, as Scott Zolak alluded to there. Coming back home now to host the Jets this coming Thursday night. And New York will come in off consecutive wins. They held off the Browns 27-20. They had a kick return score and a punt return touchdown in the first half against Cleveland. They win on a day where Justin Fields finished 6 of 11 for 54 yards, and 42 of those came on a fourth quarter screen pass, touchdown catch and run by Breece Hall. So you take that away, 5 of 10 for 12 yards passing.
I mean, Justin Fields understood the assignment. They're trying to lose games here to get the number 1 overall pick, and then all of a sudden the special teams unit messed it up.
Aaron Glenn.
I mean, now the Browns are in the driver's seat for that number 1 pick.
That was a must-lose game, and somehow the Jets won. Can't believe it.
Isn't that so, Jets?
Browns, none of these bad teams are tanking. I think they're all going to win a bunch of games. I think
A bunch?
Browns. Yeah, honestly, I think Jets have 2 or 3 more wins, maybe.
Not this Thursday.
To be honest, too, I
In
mean,
Foxborough.
Stefanski, this might be it.
He looked miserable on that sideline. I get it. He's coaching the Browns, and he's done it for years now, but I feel like I've never seen him look that defeated.
Gave up the play calling again.
Yep.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah, Tommy Reese, and all of a sudden now, like, things did look a little bit better, I
Did
guess.
you see
but
like Nick Saban's I guess his like words of advice for him?
no.
Because they said in the broadcast, don't screw it up, kid.
You thought it looked better? I thought it looked awful.
Well, a little better for Jerry Jeudy, who finally had his career season high in catches and yards yesterday. He actually found their best receiver.
They had a 4th down play call where I don't know what the heck was going on. There was no options. Like, Dylan Gabriel dropped back, and there was no receiver within eyesight of him. I was like, what?
The ultimate mass protection. No one goes out for a route.
But they're going Shador in the last month. The reports out there, the last 4 games are all Shador. We'll see.
I thought their offensive line just Jets just let go of the rope yesterday. I mean, Will McDonald, who had before last week had this 6-game drought of no sacks, was in the backfield every single play. Jermaine Johnson, who's come off from the torn Achilles last year, had his best game of the season. These are the guys, they just lost Quinnen Williams. I was like, oh, the Jets, we have a pass rush now?
Well,
like,
I was laughing. I was remember when everyone was so mad that the Jets didn't get the left tackle Broderick Jones, and they had to take this guy Will McDonald that they didn't need at all, and then he's awesome. That was a game yesterday.
The Patriots screwed him over and traded with the Steelers right before the Jets pick.
Right. And it ended up where Broderick Jones has been kind of a disappointment, I think. And Will McDonald looked like the defensive player of the year yesterday.
Broderick Jones is busy tackling Aaron Rodgers from behind, right?
Is that he the guy who took out Rodgers? Oh, God.
He was, yeah.
Will McDonald, 4 sacks, first 4-sack game for a Jet in 24 years. John Abraham was the last to do it.
We suck.
Yeah. Dolphins beat up the Bills in Miami 30-13. 3 turnovers in the day for Buffalo, 2 by Josh Allen.
I got to be better. I'd be better in the protection game, in the pass game, in the run game, all of it. That's anytime you turn it over 3 times, 2 in the red zone, and really you could count that last one, driving, kind of going into the red zone. So that's a recipe for disaster.
And it was. Yeah. Maggie alluded to the run defense as well. Devon Achane, 22 carries, buck 74, 2 scores for Miami. Bills fall to 6-3. They will come back home to play the Bucs.
Can I just say that was the greatest tush push, the one that they fumbled on? It was. I've never seen a tush push go for 20 yards. It was amazing.
Well, Josh telling you to do something because James Cook couldn't get any yards, so you got to take the ball and run, and then finally got stripped out of them. EJ, to your point about the Browns, though, offensive line dropping the rope. I'm not trying to deflect the Bill stuff here. They sucked yesterday.
Yeah.
When was his name? Cam Thomas was the guy who jumped on the fourth.
Cam Robinson,
yeah.
Sorry, Cam Thomas on the defense. Yeah.
Sorry, it was on the defense, not the offensive line. It's on the defense. The Browns jumped Pearl on a play when the Jets. Everyone knew they were not running a play. Sorry, on the defensive side of the ball.
The last 2 minutes, and they had a defensive holding. It was a garbage call, by the way, to extend that Jets drive.
And the Jet O-line started dancing after the Browns jumped.
Yeah.
Membu,
that was amazing. That was Membu? Oh, my God. That was great.
They're getting their dance moves from Aaron Glenn, who certainly has them in spades.
He was happy.
Yep.
All right. We got to take a break there. CeeLo, thank you so much. Coming up, we will talk about college football as well. Huge weekend, college football playoff implications. And actually, the team that had the best weekend, Pearl, is a team that didn't even play. So figure that out. So much to get to. And if we're not talking about your game, give us a call. 888-710-4ISN. Maggie Perloff.
QB Alabama.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, reacting to everything we saw yesterday. Perl, you mentioned before you thought it was not a great NFL weekend, but there were a lot of really close finishes. There was a lot of dumb football, but there were some close finishes. Not for my Bills, unfortunately. That one was a blowout, 30-13 against the Miami Dolphins. But you had, come from behind win for Houston. You ended up having a close game, Tampa and the Patriots, with Baker Mayfield having a chance to tie the game late. Obviously, EJ's Jets and the Browns were in a barn burner.
Well, again, you just throw out Jacksonville, Houston, Cleveland, New York Jets.
Well, that's who's playing. It can't be.
No, I know.
It's not Packers, Eagles every night. We'll get that later today. But.
And then you were kind of excited. All right, well, at least Aaron Rodgers is going against the Chargers. That was the worst game of the day. That was just awful.
And Rodgers was awful. We'll get more into that in a second. John's in Vancouver, though, wants to weigh in. Good morning, John. How are you?
Good morning, Maggie. And Andrew, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about your Bills, Maggie. I'm just, to me now, you may as well flush that win over the Kansas City Chiefs because it's, it's been wasted. And now they're I guess they're one game less, so they're 1.5 games behind New England, Denver, and Indianapolis. So they may have to play on the road. And I'm just thinking, if somehow miraculously the Ravens make the playoffs, if they were playing a rematch from the Monday night game of the first Monday night game, who are you taking, especially with the way Henry's running?
Oh, yeah. The Ravens defense, we need a case study. John, thank you so much for pointing out something really important, which is, the Bills definitely going to be on the road. I mean, right now, if the season ended today, they'd be the 6th seed. Not ideal. But, Pearl, the Ravens.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way.
Yeah.
The defense, which was a massive liability in the beginning of the year, has now turned into one of the staunchest units in the NFL. Like, they literally moved Kyle Hamilton like 5 feet to the right, and now they're like the greatest defense ever assembled. I don't.
Based on what?
What do you mean?
I mean, Minnesota sucks.
No, but just the metrics will tell you over the last 4 games, they have been much better.
Yeah, I know, because they
the schedule
played,
lightened up a little bit, but that's
yeah,
fine. That
and
gets
then
them.
Cleveland next week. They're I'll give you a sneak preview. They're going to look like the 85 Bears.
I don't know. The
telling you-
Vikings beat the Detroit Lions last week in Detroit, Pearl. Like, the Vikings, they were an underdog in this game. I'll give you that. But they looked particularly bad yesterday. The Ravens did a great job.
I don't trust the Vikings.
Well, nobody
I
trusts
don't
J.J.
trust
McCarthy.
I don't trust McCarthy. Yeah, I mean, he had some big plays, but I don't know. And then listen, I'm looking at the Ravens schedule. They got the Jets and the Browns, so their numbers are going to look great. Even yesterday, the Vikings, there were points where they were moving the ball pretty effectively. I'm not so convinced on the Ravens defense.
All right.
It's elite, like Super Bowl level.
Let's get some college football in as well. It's time for the report card.
Time to go. I have to go to class.
Why don't you call me sometime when you have no class?
Let's find out who made the grade after this weekend's college football action.
He is totally going to kill at college.
What, like it's hard?
As of this moment, they're on double secret probation.
Maggie and Perloff hand out their college report card.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
One man's opinion. All right, EJ, throw it out to us. We got 4 quick ones, and we're going to give a grade from Saturday's action. What's up?
All right, let's go to Happy Valley, where Fernando Mendoza had one of the big moments of the weekend. What grade are you giving Fernando Mendoza, quarterback for IU?
A++ for that final drive. Really, I mean, to start that drive under 2 minutes, Pearl, you take a sack on the first play of that drive, so you have to go through the air with no timeouts. It will be remembered for the all-time catch by Omar Cooper Jr., but Mendoza was nails on that final drive. For that, I'll give him the A++. And it made Gus Johnson lose his voice.
Yeah, I'll give him a B+. I thought there was definitely to be in this game, like it's probably his worst game in a long time because he's been on such fire that it was kind of hard to figure out. Once again, you look at that game like, oh man, I don't know if we have a number 1 pick in this draft. To me, like that drive was great, but the game was ugly. Penn State did get a lot of pressure on him. I'll give you that.
All right, how about the Oregon Ducks head coach Dan Lanning? They get a close win in Iowa.
I mean, a B. I think Iowa was non-threatening on offense, obviously. It was gutsy. I give a lot of credit to the kicker to be able to make that kick in that weather. It looked like it was coming down. I just was not impressed by Oregon's win there. I know it's really, really hard to go to Iowa, but I'm not nearly as excited about this team as I was last year's team.
Well, maybe not, but yeah, I'm going B+/A- here for Dan Lanning. Many a great coach has been felled in Iowa in the rain in a game like this, and they were down and needed that last second. What is his name? Sappington. It's not Scout. What he's got the name from the famous book To Kill a Mockingbird. Atticus Sappington, all-time name for a kicker for Oregon. I thought Dan Lanning, again, you were 9th in the poll going into this game. You can play the nobody respects us card. They go in. They did not mess around, Pearl. They leave with an ugly win. I'm going to give the head coach.
Around.
Well, but you said they're not a great team this year.
Yeah.
Right.
They messed around in a big way. They were pretty bad most of the game.
I think it was because it's a terrible place to play with awful weather. And not that Oregon's not used to bad weather. They are, like rain. But I don't know. Dante Moore looked pretty good on that 10-play drive to get them in field goal range, too.
And finally, BYU is undefeated no more. What grade are you giving quarterback Bear Bachmeier?
Ooh, gotta go C-. Not great. Did you know that he had 11 carries for 12 yards? And obviously, that's funny because the yardage and stuff gets messed up. But no, I mean, BYU got completely exposed here, Pearl. They look like pretenders.
I mean, it's not on Bear Bachmeier. There was somebody, I actually don't remember which. The Texas Tech has a obviously future NFL guy who was basically, Bear Bachmeier would turn around. The guy was on top of him. They could not block Texas Tech's defensive line. That is an impressive team. I almost go the reverse. It's not about Bear Bachmeier. It's about Texas Tech being really elite. That looks like a bunch of NFL players running around on defense. So that was not a fair fight.
Amazing what some money can do for a roster. And Texas Tech has got that money. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Coming up, Caleb Williams. What did he show you yesterday?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
It's Sunday again, he's cracking a beer, saying this is the one, this is our year. By halftime he's standing, red in the face, yelling same damn shit, it's a damn disgrace. Yeah, Christian Fields and these damn Saints, they break his heart, test his faith and restraints. They'll score one drive, then fall apart, tearing that poor man's soul apart. And we rode in every morning, half asleep and half alive, talking sports and chasing dreams, just trying to survive. Now the lights are out, the board's gone black, and Pete ain't coming, he ain't ever coming back. Yeah, the mics are cold, but the story's burned. We gave it all till the final turn. Goodbye, infinity. We rode that wave like a runaway train. Now the soundboard's silent and there's no more pain. Pete's finally free from the 9 to 3, sleeping in his glory, living the dream. Yeah, Pete ain't showing up, not today, not ever again. DA's laughing somewhere, raising a glass to the crew. We built a wild little empire, yeah, we saw it through. But Pete, oh Pete, he's our Hall of Fame ghost, clocked in twice a week. That's what he did most. He said, I'll be there soon, yeah, we've heard that line. Now he's punching out for the very last time. Goodbye, infinity. It's been one hell of a beautiful mess. Talking tape and total stress. Pete's alarm's been dead since 24. Now he don't need it anymore. Yeah, Pete ain't showing up, not today, not ever again.
45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Motion to the right on 2nd and 8 from the 17. Caleb Williams under center. Drags another tight end. Smythe in motion. Here's the snap of the play fake. Williams rolling to his left. Running now. 15, 10, 5. End zone. Tiptoes in. Touchdown in the blue paint. Caleb Williams. 17 yards. Took care of business himself.
Thank you to Bears Radio. This had to be refreshing for the Bears fans. Finally, you're on the winning side of some of these close games. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Now, Pearl, has it been a murderer's row that the Bears have beaten lately to get to 6-3? No, they beat New Orleans. They beat Cincinnati. Now the New York Giants yesterday, even though the Giants had a 10-point lead through most of the game, and Jackson Dart got knocked out of the game. Russell Wilson had to come in. It was a debacle on the Giants side. But again, you know, I don't think this Bears team was anywhere close to being a Super Bowl contender.
Right.
But they just want to show that the arrow is pointing in the right direction here. Now, Ben Johnson is in the locker room after these games like, you know, he's so hyped up. You would think they won the Super Bowl, but this is what happens when teams are bad for a long time, right? And not really competitive. I know there was one playoff run with Mitchell Trubisky, but like they haven't really been that competitive. And Caleb looks good. He does. It's not awesome all the time. He's not perfect. He's not Drake May. He's not Jaden Daniels when Daniels is healthy. But at least it's trending in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're 6-3. That record's going to come back down to earth. So I just the way they're winning is not, to me, super impressive. Caleb is not good. He's a great scrambler. He is not running the offense the way Ben Johnson wants. The Bears. I mean, we've seen teams. It reminds me of Daniel Jones with the Giants a few years ago. If you have a scrambling quarterback, you can get a bunch of close wins. Remember Vince Young and the Titans. Like, Caleb is just not developing the way the offense should. There's something going on. I don't know what it is. Like, I think actually it was bad weather probably against the Giants. I'll give you that.
Yeah, had a little
Finally snow. But
flurries.
Why isn't the offense looking like anything or even the slightest resemblance to Jared Goff and the Lions?
Okay, but
cut and dried.
Jared Goff and the Lions were 3-13-1 the first season. Like, your year one with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, year one, week 10.
Yeah, but Jared Goff was on
Is it supposed to look like the finished product? And Jared Goff had way more experience.
I don't know. The passing offense still isn't looking any better. It's getting almost worse.
But Pearl, like, you know that there's going to be some growing pains. So, like, and what's going to be the measure here of when this thing is working? I'll grant you, it doesn't look like Drake May. I've said that. It does not look that way as far as the passing offense. But they're already incorporating some of the signature trick plays that happened last week where Caleb caught a touchdown for the first time.
That's all Ben Johnson.
It's Ben Johnson, exactly. And so, do you not think that the arrow is pointing up here? You just think that Caleb is a bust?
Arrow is. No, I don't think he's a bust. I just think that he needs to improve a little bit more. I think if you look maybe 3 years down the road, I have a sense that maybe Ben Johnson is there and Caleb Williams is not. Because I just these wins don't prove much to me. They really don't. He's a tough guy. There's no doubt about it. Like, forget all the reports about him. I just don't want to see him like he needs to do these crazy runs. He's a great athlete. There's no doubt about it. But you can't just have a 25-yard scramble in the fourth quarter every week. You got to start moving the ball. Maybe it'll click, but it hasn't clicked yet.
Okay.
It might click, but it has not clicked at all. And it really wasn't clicking on Sunday very well.
I'll give you that.
What we thought they were.
But here's the thing, right? Like, you needed 2 touchdowns at the end of that game, and Caleb Williams delivered you 2 touchdowns
with
at
his
the end.
legs.
With his legs, but fine. Like, we talk about running quarterbacks, especially when you're young, you can win some games. And it reminds me a little bit, now it doesn't look the same, but Jaden Daniels last year, Pearl, with the Commanders, they won all these close games, ones they had no business winning.
With a running quarterback, right.
Pulling them out of where the sun don't shine. And they got to the playoffs, and they were able to go on the road and beat Tampa. They beat a banged-up Detroit Lions team who was the number 1 seed, and then obviously met your Eagles, and they got blown out. But, like, why can't...
He was at electric passing. He was at a great passer. Caleb is probably a good passer right now. Jaden was way better at throwing the ball than Caleb's been so far.
Okay, well, that's also on Ben Johnson, is it not? Like,
No,
you want to
that's
give
on
Ben
Caleb.
Johnson this
No,
pass.
that's
Why?
what I'm saying. It's on Caleb.
It's not Ben Johnson as the offensive-sided head coach, offensive guru to help develop Caleb Williams into a better passer.
It's just slow. It's just slow. No, I mean,
it's
that's
the
what I'm saying.
Bears.
I'm saying in 3 years, I think Ben Johnson might be here, and I'm not as convinced that Caleb Williams will be here. Probably will be because he's definitely good, but I don't know like why it looks nothing like Detroit.
Well, because what did Detroit look like the first year with Ben Johnson, right? Like you're fast forwarding.
But Jared Goff was already a veteran.
Well, he was already played in a Super Bowl. It was very, very different, and it played for Sean McVay. I mean, Caleb Williams has none of that. He was playing for Matt Eberflus at this time last year. And, to me, I just feel like for Caleb, like, it doesn't always look good. I'll give you that. But you can see what's going on. And why they can't play faster, well, they play outside. That's the other part, too. You don't have the Detroit Lions. You're not an indoor team. And thankfully, they're actually not built like that because that's never going to win you games in the NFC North.
That's kind of why Caleb should have avoided Chicago. I was like, on Sunday, remember there was that rumor that he didn't want to go to Chicago? I'm like, this is why you don't want to go to Chicago. The weather's crappy. Maybe he's built for that because he could be a running quarterback. But again, I just expected a little more. They have Roman Dunze, they have Colson Loveland, they have Cole Kmet. I don't know. They feels like it should be a little bit easier. That's all I'm saying. Like they should destroy the Giants at home.
But do you think that some of that had to do with a lot of drops in that weather? Like I watched that game, and Caleb Williams made some throws that were like, woof. And
right, but then
guys
sometimes
just couldn't make the plays. Sometimes.
You're telling me there's some plays where he misses?
Yeah, no, he does. He's inconsistent. I just thought that the Bears left a lot of points on the board. Like there were multiple throws, there were touchdown throws that they did not make because the guy Zacchaeus. That guy. They should have left him on the field and said, "Hey, go to the jug machine and just keep catching the ball until you catch 100." Because
Let me ask you this.
He dropped like 4 passes yesterday.
Let me ask you this: if Jackson Dart doesn't get hurt, who wins that game?
I
know.
I don't know. I'll be honest.
Giants win.
No.
Somewhat easily.
But here's the thing: this is actually not a Jackson Dart thing. We'll get to Dart in a second. But the Giants have had 4 games where they've had the lead by at least 10 points, and they've lost 4 with Jackson Dart on the field. So you actually have no idea whether or not he would have been able to hold on to the lead. Now, I'll grant you, Russell Wilson did not do anything. And I don't know why Jameis Winston isn't the first one out on the field after Jackson Dart gets hurt. I don't know why Russell Wilson is actually the backup. I think it should be Jameis. But the Giants have, made this their habit. So I don't think you can confidently say that.
Unlimited.
I don't know. It felt like Jackson Dart was running wild on that Chicago defense. We'll see. So there's Chicago's 6-3 right now, and they needed to go down to the wire with a 2-8 Giants team at home. I think that record's coming closer down to 500.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
888-710-4ISN. How do you want to put this? Like, I think that the Bears are trending up. Now, listen, they do have the interesting part of their schedule is coming up next. So at Minnesota, Pittsburgh, home for Pittsburgh, at your Philadelphia Eagles, and then at Green Bay. This is going to be an interesting stretch for them and a big test. Now,
to play better than they did on Sunday, and they probably will. Maybe they're playing down to the Giants. Yeah, again, they should have lost to Cincinnati, who's at 3-8 or something like that. Or no, they have a bad record too. They have been in games with medium teams. Like I just have a lot. I guess we have different bars for the Bears. I think like you just want to see development.
Yes.
I think at 6-3, you got to wonder. Caleb Williams, remember at USC and Oklahoma, he was the best thrower in college football. It should be easier for the Bears. Their offense just feels like something is missing.
My question is how do Bears fans feel? Because we asked this question all offseason, was if the Bears win 10, 11 games, but Caleb Williams doesn't throw for 4,000 yards, is that a disappointing season? Perloff, you kept saying yes. Maggie, you kept saying no.
Right.
I think we're headed down that path that the Bears are going to win 10 to 11 games, and Caleb Williams is not going to have these big, impressive, gaudy numbers. How would you feel as a Bears fan if that is how the season plays out.
See, I think now that we're in it, it's about winning games, right? And it's about winning games however you can win them. And you see the locker rooms all fired up and hand out the game balls and all that stuff. Like, hey, Ben Johnson said yesterday after the game, we had him exactly where we wanted them. Like down 10 with like 2 minutes left to go or whatever, 4 minutes left to go.
Have you seen the Giants? I mean, that's pretty accurate, to be
honest. This is one of the 3 worst teams in the league. I mean,
the Giants, their competition.
The Giants, yeah. And I think it is interesting. I understand what you're saying. Caleb Williams, I think he's had a better season than I kind of maybe expected. But you're right. He's probably not going to reach 4,000 yards. And I do think some Bears fans, we'll see how he does against these really good teams. If he can beat the Packers, then forget it. Then that is impressive. But beating the Giants at home, that's a W, but that doesn't do anything for me.
Right now, Caleb Williams on the season has 2,136 yards. So he's on pace to break it because we still
No, I don't think so.
No, actually, it's week 10, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's like right on that cusp.
13 touchdowns right now to go with 4 interceptions. But maybe a good thing for him is last year he took 68 sacks and he only has 14 sacks this year and only had 1 yesterday.
And he's obviously, he's a fourth quarter gamer. Don't you feel like young mobile quarterbacks win games like these with their legs, and eventually what happens?
They get hurt.
They get hurt. I mean, Jaden Daniels, Jackson Dart. So, and by the way, Josh Allen is the one exception. He decided to take that game over on Sunday with his legs, and usually he should have won that game. Felt like he was going to, and then something weird happened.
Well, he can't throw a pick in the end zone. We'll get back to the Bills in a moment because that was probably the most stunning result of the weekend and clearly a bad sign. And people who are paying attention to the Bills really closely knew that they were 100% capable of losing a game this way. But quickly to the Giants side now. We're asking you, were you impressed at all by Caleb Williams? They're now 6-3, the Bears are, 888-710-4ISN. To the Giants side of things. Pearl mentioned it. This started with the debacle at Denver, where the Giants were up by 10, lost that game in the last few seconds, 33-32. The next week, your Philadelphia Eagles, they lost 38-20. Then San Francisco, 34-24. Now Chicago, 24-20. They've lost 4 in a row. And Jackson Dart got knocked out of the game with a concussion, which was the most obvious thing that was going to happen this season. You've already lost Scattaboo. Yeah. He's gone. And these guys, the 2 of them, play so recklessly. And by the way, Jackson Dart gets the concussion, came back into the game for 2 plays. Like, they didn't make the switch until the third quarter ended. Yeah. They went to the fourth quarter with Russell Wilson. Brian Daboll may get fired off of that. Like, you remember when he went into the medical tent to try to check on Jackson Dart? He got fined $15,000, I think, for that. Pearl, I thought maybe Daboll would survive because if Dart looks like he's being developed, maybe they want to stick with the continuity and, not mess up a young quarterback by changing coaches and all of that. That's gone. I mean, you're a 2-8 team. And I thought yesterday, even on the defensive side, which is definitely the defensive line is the bread and butter of this team, no doubt. I thought they weren't tackling well. They left some stuff out there. You have Brian Burns missing tackles. I'm like, that is insane.
Caleb Williams some plays looked like Michael Vick. And the way he was juking like Abdul Carter and Burns, it looked like they had him dead to rights. And Caleb is a underrated, good athlete. But there were times where, last year, those were sacks. Like, he sacked 1 million times. You would think the Giants, when they had those free rushes at him, they were going to bring him down. And he would just make a juke move and, just shake a guy out of his shoes. And he was off 10, 15 yards. I mean, that was an incredibly disappointing performance by the Giants defensive line.
Well, let me ask you this. You guys shut down Jackson Dart for the year. Schefter just tweeted that it's his 4th time he's been checked for a concussion. We know from our buddy Chris Nowinski how progressive this is.
Yep.
I think at 2-8, what's the point? I mean, I don't think they will, but it's getting a little worrisome that maybe he needs a longer rest for the head injuries.
Yeah, hopefully this decision is out of their hands. Hopefully there's like an independent neurologist who comes in and just says, either he's not going to pass concussion protocol and he's going to have to take a seat, or somebody who actually has his best interest in mind to be like, listen, it's your rookie season. We got a long way to go here. And he looks like he's the guy for New York. But if he's going to be in concussion protocol or he's not going to protect himself, then you're never going to get the full Jackson Dart experience anyway.
Yeah, and it's so funny. Like, it's not a great year. It's not a great draft to have a top 5 pick. Like, I don't know what they have their quarterback, so they don't really even need a draft pick. And it's supposed to be reportedly a very down draft. It feels a little bleak right now.
They need some corners.
Yeah, I don't know if there's one in the top 5. I mean, if they're the number 3 pick, you're not taking a cornerback.
No, but maybe you trade out We still have some
Nobody's
time in
gonna
this
trade up
college
this year. It's
season. We
supposed to be
might have a little
bad.
time. I mean, you
Yeah.
have teams desperate for quarterback. Although yesterday with the Saints, now the Saints beat the Panthers, which I don't know if it matters at all, but they obviously need a quarterback. You think Miami needs a quarterback? Cleveland needs a quarterback. The Jets need a quarterback. You've got a lot of teams with a big demand.
If I'm the Giants, I'm taking a wide receiver. You got to find someone to help because it can't just be Malik Neighbors or bust.
And Malik Neighbors keeps getting hurt.
Right.
It's just gonna be brutal to watch Jeremiah Smith not being eligible for the draft and have a top 3 pick. So they'll take the other one, right? They'll take Carnell Tate
or Tyson from Arizona State, who's also had a huge year. He's slotted to be one of the top.
I mean,
10
if
picks.
they have the number 3 pick, does that guy look like it? You don't want a wide receiver at number 3. You don't want a cornerback. You want a quarterback. You don't tank. The Giants should go all out to win because you only tank for a quarterback. But it feels like there's no silver lining here because Dart looks like he's injury prone. Brian Dable, you're right. It's laid out the case. He's probably gone.
He and Joe Shane might both be gone, by the way.
Malik Neighbors coming off a massive injury. This is a very bleak time for Giants fans. I can't see what the silver lining is.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a bleak time, but you do feel like you have your guy in Dart.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird in between.
But it feels bleak because of the head injuries right now.
Yep, definitely. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. I think Manny yesterday in our chat eloquently put it that his quarterback has mashed potatoes for brains.
Well, that's his coach's fault.
Yeah.
And I think that I've been on local radio in New York defending the idea that if Brian Daboll has done a good job with developing Dart, then he should be given the chance to continue that development, at least for another year. But yesterday was the first day where I thought, he's not doing a good job at that because he's running this guy like he's Josh Allen.
Yep.
Also,
he's not Josh Allen. He's not 6'5". He's not 250.
Yeah.
He's half that size. He's athletic. He's quick. He took a shot in the first quarter where I was like, I thought he was going to cuss then. I was like, wow.
He might have
I can't believe he got up. And then he took more hellacious shots. I mean, it's too much.
The other part, too, is if you're a coach and you keep giving up these 10-point leads, that's unforgivable, too. Like, that's your fireable offense. I know it's all about the quarterback, and we try to make it reductive down to that, but, like, clearly your in-game decision-making needs work.
And he's kept that defensive coordinator, Shane Bowen, who's been embattled all season. And I don't know if that's an edict from the front office to keep him and that they can't get rid of him, but that has been a huge issue. It's clear the defense has lost confidence in him, and they believe they're going to lose these games down the stretch. They have no confidence when the game is close in the end.
Question for you. Do you believe in Caleb Williams? Have you been impressed with how the Bears have been able to win some of these last-minute games? And on the flip side, this Giants, so let's not to prematurely hand him the pink slip, Pearl, but if Brian Dable does get fired with the Giants at 2-8, attractive job?
Oh, my God, no. This franchise is lost.
See, I think you look at the roster, and there actually is talent here. Look at the defensive line. You love the defensive line.
Well, I love Brian Burns. I don't know why
Andrew Carter's like the midseason defensive rookie of the year for a lot of people. A lot of those articles just came out. It doesn't have the sack numbers, but
I don't know why they drafted that guy.
Well, strength on strength. I mean, you got the 3 overall pick, and you knew that you were going to get your quarterback later. And you got Dart. He's obviously not a zero. You got Malik Neighbors. Your offensive line actually has been shored up, which is something that plagued the Giants for a decade.
That's where I would
somewhat.
That's where I would go in the draft, by the way, is offensive line.
Yeah, they always need offensive line. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. I think it is a very attractive job. There's going to be, obviously, what do we average, 7 to 8 openings per offseason?
I mean, but why have they been losing for so long? There must be something fundamental to the organization. I think they need to do a coach GM change and bring in a cohesive unit. I know nothing bothers you more than having the coach and GM on different timelines.
I hate it. 888-710-4ISN. Coming up, what happened to Aaron Rodgers last night? He did not look like the future Hall of Famer. That's for sure. We'll get to that next. Plus, the M&P 500, whose stock is up and whose stock is down after a big weekend.
Ah, damn it.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Yeah, you and I have kind of disagree about this. I was not enthralled with the level of NFL football on Sunday. Basically, I thought games were over, and then they were back. Like Houston, Jacksonville took them off my Sunday ticket.
Yeah.
The one I'll be honest, I watched a lot of the Patriots Buccaneers. That was kind of a fun call and a fun game. But then again, that game wasn't pretty either. This is I don't know, like we talked about it before the show. Is anybody great right now? I didn't watch any football Sunday or see any team, maybe the Rams and the Seahawks that looked, and actually the Lions dominated. But the Rams and the Seahawks look like, okay, they seem almost like they got everything where they want it right now. But generally, even the contenders look vulnerable.
Yeah, but even like you could poke holes, like even the Rams, right, who won this game, you mentioned at one point it did become a close game. I think that the 49ers got it to within a 10-point game, and they had a 4th and 4. Ball gets batted down. That could have been, if that's a touchdown drive, maybe it's game on. Mac Jones did have over 300 yards passing and a couple touchdowns. So even in a bad loss, you might be able to squint and see a good performance. But speaking of those Bucs, let's go to David, who's in Orlando. David, this is a tough one. You're coming off your bye week. You got a young quarterback coming into town. Usually Todd Bowles feasts on these young guys. How you doing? David, you there? David? I'll put you on hold. Okay, Richie in Queens. Richie wants to weigh in on the Giants' latest debacle. So that was a loss yesterday in the last seconds of the game in Chicago, and Jackson Dart out with a concussion. Good morning, Richie.
Hey guys, how are you? You touched on it, Andrew. I mean, you look at those games. There's no rhyme or reason what's going on here. You could sit. Normally, you'd have 10 weeks in. Well, we're pointing to this as the real tough top teams, and it seems like it's up for grabs. I mean, Maggie, that was a terrible loss by Buffalo.
Horrible.
And if it's not for him, I don't know if they're an 8-win team. They've really taken a step back defensively. I look at the Rams real quick, guys, and I know they gave up 300 yards to Mac Jones yesterday, but they're top 7 in offense, they're top 7 in defense, and what Stafford is having an incredible year. He's 25-2. So could they be the team? Obviously Philly picked up some good stuff at the deadline with their defense, and they picked up a cornerback. But as far as my Giants, I was on real quick with Tiki yesterday. I'm on every week on Saturday mornings, and I sound like the old guy in the balcony, but they are. I don't want to hear about their defense. I just don't. I think Abdul Carter. I know he does good things. He spies on the quarterback. No, and Tiki brought up. Yeah, I said Tiki's got to get a sack on occasion, and he said to me, "Well, he's a rookie." No, when you are good individual, you're not a quarterback that has to learn a playbook. You're out there on the end. You're a defensive end. You make that move to show me that, hey, you're going to be down the guy down the road. Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, and what they do at the end of the game to give up when they give up 14 points in 4 minutes.
Yep.
And you know what I equate it to, Maggie, real quick? They're like, they have a lot of potential. They get close. There's a lot of pressures. It's like having a power hitter that hits the ball to the warning track. It doesn't quite get there. I never saw so many misses yesterday. And it's a reflection on Dable. I think he does have to go. And just to end it, I think Dart is the answer. And I don't want to hear that the reason you keep Dable is because you have to, because he's the guy that's going to progress Dart. If Dart's good, which I think he is, he will progress on his own.
Yeah.
It's been a disaster, guys. Thank you.
Richie, thank you for the call. I mean, I think Perloff and I disagree about the Giants. If they become open, if Brian Daboll does get fired, and the team's 2-6 and has yet to win a game on the road this year, I think things are trending in a bad direction here for Dabes. But I think that's a really attractive job because you do have Dart. Now, if you can find a way to protect him, keep him upright, you have a guy who seems like, can play the position. And so I agree with Richie. Like, you'd probably rather make that call earlier in a guy's career than later. But who is that coach that could come in and have that big impact? Are they going to go with like a Cliff Kingsbury? Would they go, because you got to go offensive side of the ball, I imagine, just like they did with Dable.
Well, you might as well just bring in Lane.
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Because that's,
Boomer
down the hall was floating that last
Lane
week.
Kiffin?
Yeah.
Does Lane want to come to the pros?
That I don't know. That's what I was going to ask.
Come back to the pros?
loves Jackson Dart. He talks about him so glowingly. I don't know. Lane's got a good thing going in college.
I was going to say, Lane's going to make the college football playoff this year. He's got Trinidad Chambliss, who's the backup.
Yeah, I mean, this would be attractive. Obviously, New York would be very attractive to Lane, more attractive than Florida, LSU, or Penn State, I think. He obviously had a terrible tenure with the Raiders. I think
Wait, well, hold on one second. Let's talk about money just for a minute. We're talking about Lane Kiffin potentially be on the Giants' radar if they fire Brian Daboll. Like, LSU handed Brian Kelly a $100 million contract. The Giants aren't doing that.
No.
Florida could scrap together God knows how much for Lane. Or maybe you just hold Ole Miss hostage and stay. I think he'd get a bigger payday in college than he would in the pros, right?
I don't know. I mean, the pros get paid a lot. How much does Daboll make, for example?
I think 5-6 a year,
Lane
something like that.
It'll be a competitive market for him.
Lane probably makes 10 right now.
He probably could make 10 with the Giants. I would think there's going to be a market for Lane. Like the
if
Giants
they wanted them bad enough, they would have to pony up, comparatively speaking, to what.
I mean, Ben Johnson
somewhere in the range of what he's getting college-wise.
Ben Johnson made 10 to 12, I think, or something like that.
Kiffin right now is at $9 million per year.
Yeah, I'm seeing Daboll's around 5.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing though about Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson, the head coach of the Bears, went through 3 hiring cycles where he could have left and didn't. Yeah. He built his market to the point where an in-division rival was like, we'll give you everything you want.
Yeah, but I think Lane Kiffin
That's not what Lane Kiffin's walking into.
I think if the Giants want Lane Kiffin, I think they definitely will have to they'll have to give him a raise. I would think $12 million for sure. No problem.
I know, but I just don't see the Giants handing out a $100 million contract where LSU just did that for Brian Kelly. They might do it again.
I also don't think he's earned it. Like he
Lane?
hasn't won a national title. He was a terrible NFL head coach. He's done a good job at Ole Miss, but you're paying him, giving him a John Gruden contract? That sounds insane.
He's never been to the college football playoff.
Right. I don't think it would be earning. I think it'd be market. You know, like Ben Johnson didn't earn anything, and he just made $13 million a year.
I know. I'm just saying. I think it'd be a massive mistake. Like, first of all, these mega contracts given out to coaches usually end up
in college. They end up with a buyout.
And the college is terrible, but in the NFL, it's worse. Usually, when you give out, let's give this guy again, John Gruden, this King's ransom contract. Usually, you end up regretting that.
I was just going to bring that up to give you 7 years, $62 million, so just a shade under 9 per year.
Those were terrible deals.
Well, you know what? Yes, but I do understand paying for an NFL coach because you're paying wide receiver $23 million a year. Why wouldn't you be paying your coach $14 million?
That's fine. But to EJ's point, has Lane Kiffin earned that on the pro level?
I mean, yes, but no.
Or even on the college level.
But it's not about earning. It's about what's the market going to take. If you really want him to run that offense, then you're going to have to pay up. You know, who cares about earn? Is he the right guy? And he might be good. If you're going to go with Cliff, I mean, what's the difference? They're basically the same.
Cliff had more success in the NFL than Lane Kiffin, and that's not saying a lot. But Lane Kiffin was a disaster, and I know it was the Raiders.
He was 32.
And Cliff was really young when he took over the Cardinals. Like he was a young guy too. Now he's been around the block, and I've actually seen him run an offense in the NFL to some degree.
Yeah, but Cliff never did anything in college. He had a losing record.
Yeah.
Again, what I would argue, what has Lane done before the last few years?
He's got Ole Miss, Mississippi in the national title picture. You don't think that's a thing?
How many years did it take him? I mean, Cliff Kingsbury was at Texas Tech, and then he got fired, and he didn't get another shot. We didn't get to see what he would do at his second job. Imagine we judged Lane Kiffin on only Tennessee or USC. We would say that he was a joke, which is what we were saying about him until he got to Ole Miss. He had to revamp his entire career. He had to go to Alabama, had to go to Florida Atlantic. Like, Cliff Kingsbury didn't get that opportunity, but we've seen him at least go somewhere else in the NFL and have some success.
Well, I mean, Cliff's going to get paid too, by the way. There's only one Cliff.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You're going to have 7 to 8 openings. We do on average, but I think that the Giants are a good, attractive opening. But let's get to CeeLo.
There's one name, though, you guys did not mention. I think you got to mention him.
Bill Belichick.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no.
You know it's going to be brought up, though, in New York and in the Giant circles because of how much
it already has been,
and everyone and how much they revere Bill Belichick.
But I think he wouldn't have gone to North Carolina if he thought that was coming free at some point. I mean, you don't think he called the Giants like 6 times saying, hey, you just had a terrible season with Daboll. Bring me.
He definitely did.
I think that's how the conversation went.
Yeah. No, I know Daboll.
Hey, John Mara, you free for? Do you have a minute?
Oh my God!
Can I tell you how much your coach sucks? Who I was the one who told you to hire that guy because
probably,
Daboll was from Belichick, and then I told you to hire Joe Judge, who was also from Belichick. But now you're going to bring in the real thing.
We suck.
Well, he called the Jets. I mean, that's all you have to know. If he called the Jets, he must have called the Giants. I mean, harass the Giants.
I mean, at least the Jets had the opening. Like, they had already fired Robert Saleh.
I mean, Daboll could have been gone this year.
The only thing here and why I think what EJ's getting after makes some sense is what's going on with John Mara in his private
personal life.
right?
Yeah, he's
And
dealing
his
with cancer.
affinity for Belichick and the history of the Giants. If he was looking to kind of hand it off to somebody that had a connection to the organization from the past. I don't know what the prognosis is. I know he says he's positive. I have no idea what the long term is for him there. But from that standpoint, you could understand where maybe he'd circle back to it.
Yeah.
Not saying he will, but
No.
it's not out of the question.
And I get that. And on a human level, you understand it. And John Mayer's always been a gentleman, but that would be a mistake. To
And
go
it's
the
not just
nostalgia
him,
route.
it's his family as well.
Yeah, the nostalgia route, just if you want, a comfortable pair of slippers and a robe, that's not how you run a franchise. Anyway, what else you got, Steele?
By the way, they always hire OCs, right? Isn't that the Giants? They're like they are OCs or DCs, like
except for Joe Judge.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying assistant NFL coach.
OC.
They've hired like 5 assistant NFL coaches.
No,
in a
Pat
row.
Shurmur had been a head coach before.
Yeah, but he
came over though.
But he's an
OC.
offensive.
But he did have head coaching experience. It wasn't very good.
They would to take a college guy would be a massive left turn for that
Let's
franchise.
be fair. The only reason we're talking about Kiffin is because of
Jackson
Dart's presence. Yeah. So let me start there just because, you had Dart suffer the concussion yesterday. Giants end up blowing another one. They lose to the Bears in Chicago 24-20. This is wild, by the way. The Giants are now 0-4 this season in road games where they've led by 10 or more points. That's tough to do. So obviously that's a knock against Daboll. Here he was in the postgame in exchange with at least one reporter. There might be 2 in here on Dart. The concussion, the fact that he continues to take as many hits as he does. This was the 4th time he had been checked for a concussion since he took over as the starter, which is not that long. So a little bit of a back and forth between the media and the Giants head coach here on the rookie quarterback.
We've talked to you a lot about the number of hits that Jackson takes with running, not getting down, things like that. Is this one where you feel like it caught up to him? This is the 4th time he's been checked for a concussion. He was sore getting up a week ago.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but, unfortunately got hurt.
And then eventually
Is he Mike McDaniel all of a sudden? Can he answer a question?
And they were like, so, should you maybe run him less? And he was like, no. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Not what you want, obviously, as you're a coach trying to save your job, and that's the meal ticket, and now he's got a concussion, and who knows if he'll be available to play next week when they're home against the Packers. Lions beat up the Commanders in Landover 44-22. How about 546 yards of offense for Detroit with Dan Campbell taking over as play caller for first-year offensive coordinator John Morton. Jared Goff knew there was more to his head coach than just that kneecap-biting talk, which he's famous for.
I've been saying it for years. He's not just this rah-rah guy. He's extremely smart and has a very good feel for people and players and obviously our team. And, yeah, I thought he did a great job.
And Goff threw for 320 and 3 scores, one to Jahmyr Gibbs, who also ran for $142 and 2 touchdowns. Lions are 6-3 ahead of a Sunday night road game against the Eagles, who visit the Packers tonight in Green Bay. Did you see the poison pill story with Micah Parsons and the Eagles yesterday? Did you guys discuss that already?
We did not talk about it yet, but go ahead.
Just interesting. This was sort of unbeknownst to everyone in the wake of the Parsons trade involving the Cowboys and the Packers that the Eagles had tried to trade for him. He's from the area, right? Grew up from the area, so on and so forth. So they put in the deal that if the Packers were to trade him to the Eagles, that they would owe Dallas their 2028 first-round pick. And that also involves Kenny Clark, who went the other way to
if
Dallas.
He gets traded to an NFC North team. So I think it's actually the whole NFC East. Now, it's being talked about as the Eagles because the Eagles are the ones
NFC
who called.
Yes.
But it's anywhere in the NFC East. But it's only for this year and next year.
Yes.
Michael Parsons.
That's it. So I don't know why Green Bay would pay Micah Parsons $47 million and then flip him to the Eagles. It makes no sense. These two teams met in the playoffs often, and including last year.
I guess a fail-safe more than anything else, just in case.
Yeah, it seems kind of so it's the whole NFC East, but to me, this felt a little like the rest of the division acknowledging that Howie Roseman is just light years ahead of all the rest of them.
Right.
Because you basically put this in place because Howie Roseman, the general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles, is the boogeyman, along with maybe the Chiefs, like the one guy you don't want to trade with because you think he knows something you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know his name.
Yeah.
I feel like, remember poison pills were a big thing like 10 years ago? The famous one with Steve Hutchinson. I think that would cause a lot of problems.
They used to be big in the NBA too.
Yeah, the NBA.
Yeah, and also too, I think they were kind of legally challenged. Like from the union, did not like the poison pill because it kept Steve Hutchinson from. He made a lot of money eventually. I think Jared Allen got hit by a poison pill. Anyway, yeah, I did not think this was a massive headline, and like a lot of people were talking about it this weekend.
Well, because it's Jerry. It's Jerry Jones clearly feeling like it's almost like he knew he screwed up. So it's like, all right, I realize I'm trading away one of my best players, and all I have to do is just make sure this person doesn't land in a spot where they're going to face me twice a year and make me eat it.
But honestly,
when you're general manager, of which I am,
eat it.
The Packers should have more fear of trading Micah Parsons to the Eagles than the Cowboys.
Yeah,
the Packers are actually going to play the.
It makes no
Eagles.
sense.
Yeah, that's why it feels a little bit more like a fail-safe, but such is life. Let me give you one college thing before I go here, because this is just out within the last, hour or so. So Brian Kelly has reportedly rejected 2 financial settlement offers from LSU, and his attorneys have given school officials a deadline of sometime today to confirm in writing that they'll pay him the $54 million he's owed under the terms of his contract. So apparently they offered a lump sum of $25 million the day he was fired, and they also offered to remove the mitigation language in his contract, which would have reduced the buyout amount if he coached again. They increased the offer to $30 million, and so far he said no to all of it. So they're kind of at a standstill and a little bit of a game of poker right here as far as his contract buyout goes.
We should all be so lucky to be in a position one day where someone says, hey, we'll give you $25 million today, and you tell them to go kick rocks.
Yep.
I hope we all find ourselves playing that hand at some point in our lives.
Actually, it's funny. I was thinking when you said that. So he has a $54 million buyout. They're like, we'll give you $25 million. Why would he take that? I don't know. I understand
they were
the time.
Make some other concessions.
Yes, I think it was meaning it would free him up
get
to
the
then
money so you could invest
to
it.
pursue other coaching opportunities.
The guy's 63 years old and he's a gajillionaire. What other coaching opportunities?
6
Retire,
p.m.
dude.
Eastern today. They want a letter that says the school intends to fulfill its contractual obligation. Absent this written confirmation, Coach Kelly will pursue all available legal remedies.
I actually give LSU's administrators credit. Like, they have a $54 million buyout. It's like, hey, we owe you $54 million. Here's 20. Like, what? Based on what? They owe him $54 million. Anyway, it's good for LSU.
And all the gumbo he can eat.
Yeah.
What else are you going to throw
in? It
in?
did say the last part, his lawyers told LSU officials he's still open to additional offers if the university provided this written confirmation. They're big on this written confirmation that they intend to pay the $54 million.
I'd be too.
Yes.
I'm going to want that in writing.
Yes.
We can't do a handshake deal on $54 million.
I don't know what the additional offers are that he's open to, but I guess we'll find out in short order.
There really was zero reason to fire him midseason. Like, it doesn't achieve anything. I don't even know.
Thank you. That's what I said.
I know.
It's so
I was
dumb.
watching him this weekend. I was like, I don't even know. Like, this poor interim coach. Like, they were kind of tough, but still.
Oh, they got smoked by Alabama. What was the final score? Well,
20
the final
to
score was,
9.
Yeah, 20-9. I guess
No,
not so
it
bad.
wasn't.
It never felt like they were in
Actually,
it.
it was pretty. I mean, it was close, but
I don't know.
Alabama kind of messed around.
LSU's defense, they have some guys on that defense.
Garrett Nussmeier got benched in the game.
Why?
I mean, that's the offense, Maggie.
Yeah. Well, that's why Brian Kelly ultimately got fired.
By the way, their defensive coordinator, Blake Baker, who actually used to be Miami's defensive coordinator, I mean, I don't know if you saw a couple weeks ago, he said that Brian Kelly didn't have them actually simulating like actual game scenarios. Like the new coach, first thing they did was actually simulate game scenarios, and everybody's like, what the hell is Brian Kelly doing in practice?
We get a lot of that, don't we? Hugh Freeze, it was a lot of what would you say you do around here? Brian Kelly, a little what would you say you do around here? Like,
I mean, how do you have a practice if you don't actually simulate what the other team's going to do in a game? What's the point of practice?
Yeah. What do you do? What would you say you do here?
What is it?
It's the same with Paul D. Podesta, the guy who got fired from the Browns, who's now taken over the Colorado Rockies. Like, you lived in San Diego. Somehow you're running the Browns, but they also had a GM. But did you help make a decisions? Did you not? Like, what do you do?
I was talking to I have a friend who used to be president of the Browns, went to high school with me. He's the one who hired D. Podesta. We were talking about this weekend. The fact that he wouldn't move from San Diego was awesome. Like, I mean, God bless this dude.
I get it.
You don't think half the people in Cleveland wish they could move to San Diego?
Right.
I mean, not a hot take. All right, we got to take a break. CeeLo, thank you. We'll talk to you next hour. M&P 500 comes your way next.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The M&P 500 on the Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray and Perloff. We do this every Monday. Whose stock is up, whose stock is down after a big weekend. Pro, Why don't you get us started? Whose stock is up?
Okay, I'm going to go with New England Patriots rookie Travion Henderson.
Yeah.
Ran for 147 yards and 2 touchdowns, but that's not it. He was running in at the end of the game. The Patriots had a lead, and he broke one. And he looked over to the sideline to see whether he should get down or not, because that's the new trend in football, where you get down at the 1 yard line so your team can kill out the clock. In real time, he looks over, and I think they showed video. Drake May was saying, get down, but the coaching staff wasn't doing anything. He did run in, which I think technically was the right move, Maggie. I'm not sure, because sometimes it's effective, but they did win the game 28-23. He was awesome, but to actually have the wherewithal to check it out with your coaching staff in the game was amazing.
Yeah, and it's smart because whenever somebody scores when they're not supposed to, there's like this massive rush online for everyone to be like, you idiot. It's like, what would you do in that moment, right? In the middle of the game, you don't think you're going to break free basically from midfield and you're going to end up scoring. You may have not thought of the scenario
Of course.
yet. Okay, my stock up is going to go to Matthew Stafford. And I think we all believe that Stafford peaked, Pearl, when he won the Super Bowl and left Detroit and won the Super Bowl with the Rams. And I actually don't even know if that's true, because he seems like he's getting more and more respect, getting better. Not that he's necessarily getting better, but he's like climbing in the, oh my gosh, are we actually watching one of the great quarterbacks of all time, like kind of conversation. He's not going to be at a Mount Rushmore, nothing like that. But the Stafford's legacy has just taken on this new life since he's been with the Rams. And think about it. This offseason, the Rams basically told him, go out and try to find the best deal you can. He was like an eyelash away from being the Raiders quarterback. And he's probably going to be the MVP this year. Okay, stock goes up, which means the stock has to go down. What do you got?
I would question that. Probably going to be the MVP. Okay, stock is literally moving down, and that would be the Jets draft capital. And this is really just to troll EJ over there. They beat the Browns. All the stats that are coming out about how inefficient they were on offense and actually had the win are hysterical. Basically, you said earlier in the show, Justin Fields, except for a screen pass to Breece Hall for a touchdown, threw for 12 yards on about 10 attempts.
This crap is crap.
It was amazing. They scored 2 touchdowns on special teams back-to-back and set all kinds of records. It was the ugliest win I might have ever seen, but it's a W, and it moves them down in the draft order.
Rest in peace to all my ops.
You know, I'm going to go stock down, but for the other side of the ball, the other side of the field, Kevin Stefanski, the Browns, Pearl, the day that they traded away Joe Flacco, I think you and I thought, all right, Stefanski is safe. They know he's safe. They're going to get rid of Flacco, and they know the season's going to be a wash, but Stefanski is going to get a chance at the next quarterback. I don't think that's true anymore. I don't think you can trust the Cleveland Browns ownership. And yesterday, it felt like they were actually trying to win that game, and they just couldn't. Their team is bad and kind of dumb.
The dumbest football team.
There's a great stat from that game from ESPN Research. Since 1950, teams are 225-0 when holding opponents to 175 or fewer yards and committing 0 turnovers. 225-0. They held Jets didn't get to 175.
They've had 35 quarterbacks. All of them were losers.
Okay.
I mean, how Cam Thomas jumped off sides on the 4th and 4 when every person over the age of 6 months old knew that the Jets were not running a play there. That was just awful.
This team couldn't win the Super Bowl if they were only team in the NFL.
I'll do an obvious stock up. Jonathan Taylor. I assumed that running backs never win the MVP, so I assumed that he was going to come back to earth. He went the exact opposite direction. He was a house on fire, single-handedly won that game for the Colts over the Falcons in Germany. I don't quite know how he does it. Like, how would you describe Jonathan Taylor? He's not a total burner, and he's not a total bruiser. He's not Derrick Henry. He's not ridiculous like Saquon Barkley.
Or Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, or Jahmyr Gibbs. He just breaks tackles and goes 83 yards for a touchdown. Is that a fair description?
He's amazing. He is the MVP right now. My last stock up, how about USC? I know they didn't invent this, Pearl, but they pulled off something pretty sneaky on Friday night. They had their 3rd-string quarterback, Sam Heward, Damon Heward's son, disguised himself as the punter. Wore number 80. They changed the jersey right before the game, and he was able to connect on a fake punt, and the Trojans end up scoring on that drive. They end up winning pretty easily over Northwestern. The Big Ten later comes out and says this was the rule that they broke was called the unfair tactics rule. So this should have gotten called and penalized, but too late now. They scored the touchdown. They won the game.
I read that the second play, when the punter came back on the field with the same number, that's when the flag should have been thrown. So if they kept Sam, they couldn't really throw the flag there. If they kept Sam Hewitt or punter, they would have been fine.
Can he punt?
Yeah, it was when the next guy came back. So that was still, I guess this has happened a couple times. Sneaky.
Yeah, it's the first time something interesting's happened at USC in a while. Like a season. They already matched their win total from last year, by the way. Okay, coming up next, what happened last night with Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers? Not good. Got the details for you next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Keenan in motion, joins Ladd to the right. Vidal in the backfield. The rush 4. Herbert throws. Caught! Touchdown! Chargers! Ladd McConkey.
Thank you to Chargers Radio. That Ladd McConkey touchdown was the one that kind of put it out of reach here for the Steelers. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It just really surprised Pearl at just how bad Aaron Rodgers looked last night. And no disrespect to the Chargers. The defense definitely found something. But Rodgers was all over the map. It felt like there was nothing easy about the easy throws. There were drops. He was overthrowing guys. Took a bad safety in the end zone where it kind of feels like he didn't even understand where he was on the field because he kept going backwards into the end zone. A big moment in the game I thought actually was early where Rodgers airs it out to Jonnu Smith. And I actually thought Smith caught the ball, but they go to replay. Yeah. It turns out he did not. That would have been by far the biggest gain of the evening, and it would have set up Pittsburgh in really good field position and maybe kept this game a little bit more interesting. I don't know, but that did not happen. That call got overturned, and the Pittsburgh offense was very constipated last night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually not as surprised because Rodgers all year, the offense has been somewhat slow, and he's had to do a lot of tight window throws. So you see when that offense is off 3%, like the Jonnu Smith play, he just missed it by 3 to 5%, then it doesn't work. In my opinion, there was not a lot of margin for error in Arthur Smith's offense coming into this game. And then you saw the error last night. You're right. It was bad, but it's never been easy. We've never seen Green Bay Aaron Rodgers here. He's always kind of having to drop back and throw the ball immediately. Like he's had to have a lot of fast passing to protect him from the line.
He's a bum.
And then he's forcing it to DK Metcalf. That was obvious last night.
Well, that's all they have. If they had George Pickens on this team, maybe things would look a little bit differently. Can I just put some numbers behind this, though? This is how really bad it was last night. Through the first 30 minutes of the game, the Steelers had the ball 7 times. Okay, they went 3 and out 4 of those times, kicked a field goal on a drive without getting a first down. The other 2 drives ended with an interception and a missed field goal. They were 0 for 6 on third downs in the first half and accumulated over only 85 yards of offense.
That sucked.
And even Chris Boswell missed a field goal, which things aren't going right with that guy is automatic. And really, Rodgers had a passer rating of like 19 until he got some garbage time touchdown. Like it was the first time, even with Rodgers like tearing the Achilles and coming back and having that terrible season with the Jets, it's the first time I ever thought, oh, wow, he might be done here. Like the cliff may be coming.
Maybe he won we beat the number 1 seed in the entire NFL last week.
They barely beat the Colts when their defense forced 5 turnovers.
I know, but
they won by a score.
I don't know if they barely beat
game.
them. Yeah, I mean,
Daniel
but
Jones
they
threw 3
controlled
picks
that
and fumbled
game.
the ball twice.
They had a bunch of last-minute points. I honestly, Pittsburgh dominated that game.
The defense did.
Yeah, that's how Pittsburgh wins. That's how Tomlin wins. Because last night, the defense was amazing against the Chargers, right, for the first half. They completely shut down the Chargers.
They were good.
But do you need T.J. Watt to strip that ball? That's how Pittsburgh wins. And honestly, Aaron Rodgers, what would you guess? And I don't have it in front of me, his season high in passing yards is. Has he hit 300 yards more than once? I mean,
Maybe
the guy
against the Jets?
I mean, he probably has, and I'm sorry I'm missing it. But generally, this has been a very conservative offense all season long. And he's been having to be kind of precise because it's not like there's anyone running open usually, like wide open. It's not the way that offense works.
So particularly bad yesterday. And then, EJ, can we hear Mike Tomlin after the game? Because, Mike Tomlin's press conferences are pretty unique. Sometimes I have no idea what Mike Tomlin's talking about. And other times you don't need an interpreter or a Mike Tomlin Rosetta Stone to figure out what's on his mind. So here's Tomlin getting very short with a reporter who asked him what he thought of Aaron Rodgers.
How would you assess Aaron's performance tonight? How would you? Next.
Didn't have to do that, and kind of wondering if maybe the romance, Pearl, and honeymoon may be coming a bit to an end, and maybe this is a reality check here because these two have been like, Mike T, and I love him, and Rodgers, and this and that. And, Mike Tomlin could have answered that question 50 different ways, and he's been in front of cameras most of his life, and that was leaving Rodgers a little bit out to dry.
Next. I don't know. Everybody saw the game. I'm not sure what was he. How would he have answered that question in a sort of Andy Reid say nothing kind of way?
Well,
I don't know what he could have possibly said.
I think you just say, listen, we were out of sync all night. This isn't about one person. It's not about one player. We're a team. We win as a team. We lose as a team. We're going to go back to the drawing board. That's not this pregnant pause, sarcastic, how would you answer the conversation? And then a next question. I mean, if I'm Rodgers, I'm just keeping an eye on this relationship now because I think Rodgers takes every slight very personally, even though Rodgers owned it that he had a bad game. He was taking accountability. But Rodgers also, whatever you think of him, he deserves respect on a football field. The guy has done a lot, and he had a bad game. I don't know if I would like it at 41 years old if the coach was not having my back.
Next. I guess so. I would put a much bigger concern as that O-line. Honestly, they keep drafting these guys in the first round, and I kind of like Omar Khan, the GM, but they seem to be missing on that front line because the Chargers, or unless the Chargers are that good on defense, they were on top of Rodgers all night long. He was clearly spooked. He was looking down. Or he had no idea where to go. The one time he had a little time, he actually ran backwards in the end zone and got sacked for a safety.
It was rough. It was rough. He fumbled the ball and then fell on top of it. Oh, gosh. Ugly, ugly. Meanwhile, for the Chargers, though, they get their 7th win of the season. And it kind of left us asking ourselves this question, Pearl. Who's the good team in the AFC? Because obviously, if you guys were watching my Buffalo Bills yesterday, the team that I grew up rooting for in that area of the world, it was as dreadful as possible. Dreadful. And you watch the Bills closely, you know they are capable of losing games like this when they can't run the ball, they can't stop the run, and they turn the ball over, whether it's the Dolphins or whether it's Miami-Dade High School. If you are playing that way, you're going to lose. And the Bills are not immune to that, even though they have the MVP, the reigning MVP in Josh Allen.
Oh, absolutely. They definitely showed a lot of flaws. I still think the Bills have a little run in them. Remember the year when nobody thought anything was going to happen because they were, that was last year, actually, I guess.
Yeah.
Rebuilding. Then they kind of got hot at the right time and made a run.
They clinched the division by Thanksgiving last year.
Right. But I'm just saying, they played really well. They actually surprised. I think nobody really thought they were going to beat the Ravens, who were playing amazingly last year. And then a couple years ago when they had the snow and DeMar Hamlin, they still show up for the playoffs, right? I don't remember exactly how they lost that playoff.
The Bengals, they got blown out. They got blown out by the Bengals at home. And
that was rough.
That one was bad.
It was terrible. They
win a playoff game that year?
Yeah, they won the first-round playoff game against Miami, and Skylar Thompson is the third-string quarterback.
Okay,
I think
so
I have my right year.
That one was bad.
So here's the situation. We asked ourselves in the broader context, who are the good teams in the AFC? Because that Bills loss yesterday was alarming. And I don't know if anyone thought the Bills were the best team in the AFC, but to lose a game like that shows that you aren't as legit of a Super Bowl contender as you think you are because you didn't take this game seriously. And I don't know why the Bills, of all teams, feel like they can afford to mess around. Do we not see what the Patriots are doing right now? They went on the road yesterday and beat Tampa.
The Bills with that schedule, they definitely can afford to mess around, right?
Well, can I tell you what the next couple games are coming up? I still think the Bills are a playoff team. They're 6-3, but they have Tampa next week.
Tampa's got injuries galore, yeah.
At Houston, who just won a really improbable comeback game against Jacksonville.
I mean, if they can't beat Houston, then what are we doing here?
Well, they never win in Houston, to be honest. Not lately. Then they go at Pittsburgh, always tough place to play. So, they still have the Eagles on the schedule. There's some potential L's here if they don't get their act together. And I do think it just begs the question, like, who is the really good team in the AFC? Because even the Steelers, Pearl, now have clearly opened the door for the Ravens. Ravens looked good yesterday against Minnesota. Their schedule very much lightens up, and the Ravens could have the lead on this division by Black Friday.
I know their record's not great, but I like this team in Kansas City.
Well, hot take there.
Well, you said, is there a team it feels like the conference is once again setting up for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, unless they have injuries. Because name one team that you think could beat Kansas City?
I think a lot of teams could beat.
In the playoffs.
Okay, but this Kansas City team might not have home field, and I know they've gone on the road before, but this is. Kansas City, I think they've kind of shown that they can lose games also. I just don't know if there's a head and shoulders. Like, you give it to Kansas City because it's almost like a lifetime achievement award.
Oh, God. I just think, you go team by team, and I really think that they have a great advantage. They're favored over any team in the playoffs. I mean, the Broncos just barely beat the Raiders last week. The Chargers just seem to just progressively get more injured every week. The Patriots... that definitely could happen, but no one's going to think the Patriots are going to knock off Patrick Mahomes. Your Bills are down, and the Ravens never win in the postseason. They'd probably have to go to Arrowhead because of their record. So, I don't know. I feel like the Chiefs are in the same position they're always in.
You and I see the Patriots differently. We're talking about who's the best team in the AFC. Is it the Colts, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, then the Colts. Yeah, I mean, the Colts, no, I don't see the Colts. The Colts just went toe-to-toe with a pretty bad Atlanta team. So, again, the Patriots, you really see Drake May and the Patriots. What have they shown you that they can beat a team like the Chiefs in the postseason? Because they've got this crazy light schedule. And you think Tampa Bay was an impressive win. You understand, Chris Godwin's not on the field. Bucky Irving's not on the field. Mike Evans is not on the field. This is not your... The Bucs might get healthy at the end of the season, but they are definitely an injured team right now.
Going on the road, facing a team that was well-rested, coming off their bye, I'm talking about the Bucs now, with Todd Bowles as their head coach, who has made life miserable for young quarterbacks. He's always really good at that. And yesterday, I felt like Drake May really was able to do what he wanted to do. Now, they didn't put 40 on him. It was a close game, but they still found a way to win it. They found a way to win that Atlanta game in their own place. They found a way to go on the road and beat the Bills. Like, you got to give a little credit.
Bills is an impressive win. But I think Tampa Bay is going to end up 9-8, 10-7 like they always are. I just am not going to see... They're going to go unbattle tested for that Chiefs game. Come on. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. It's a big challenge. I think the Chiefs are favored in that game, even in Foxborough.
But think about it. We've seen second-year quarterbacks do this kind of thing, like the really, really good ones, get really far into the playoffs in the second year when no one's like really expecting it.
Well, I mean,
you can go back to like the Dan Marinos and stuff, but I'm just talking about Burrow. We saw it rookie year with Jaden Daniels. We saw it with, we've seen this kind with Patrick Mahomes getting to the AFC Championship game the first year as a full-time starter. The really good guys get it going early.
Yeah, totally true. That being said, I just think the Patriots are going to get a rude awakening once they get to the playoffs. I really think it's going to be a different animal. I think they're very good. Listen, I could totally be wrong. I just feel like they're about a year away. Like, next year's Vrabel team is going to be even better. I don't see them beating Patrick Mahomes. That's hardly a hot take. I mean, listen.
Of course, you got it, but not everything is about the Chiefs, right? Like,
well, you said I think there is a strong favorite in the AFC, and I think it's the Chiefs, and I would bet the future, but the odds aren't great.
I was going to say, they're a strong favorite where if the playoffs start today, they wouldn't be in it. It's a weird place to be for them.
I mean, yeah, but I think they're the Super Bowl favorite, right?
Well, probably not the Bills anymore. The Bills took over as Super Bowl favorites after they beat the Chiefs last week, but I imagine now, I didn't check the latest odds, but I can't imagine the Bills are anywhere close now.
Yeah, I think your question was like, who is like the strong favorite? It's just, again, if you really ignore the 5-4 part of it, it looks like the Chiefs, if they stay healthy, are really going to be tough for any of these teams. Because the Broncos are flawed. The Chargers are flawed. The Patriots are flawed. No, actually, we haven't seen the flaw yet, but I assume there's a flaw there. The Colts are definitely flawed. We saw Daniel Jones fumbling away the ball like crazy. So there's a lot of issues, especially in the AFC. I think the NFC elite is a little better than the AFC elite.
And we'll get to Monday night's game where you got two elite NFC teams going against each other when the Philadelphia Eagles go to Lambeau tonight. But here's the thing, Pearl. You mentioned about those teams at the top of the AFC who have these flaws that you're talking about, but they're all going to have home games. Right? Like they're all going to get these potentially more battle-tested teams, but they get them on their own turf. Like you want to go to Denver and play a game? I don't want to mess around in Mile High. You want to go to Indy and go indoors where they're lightning fast? That's going to be hard for some of these defenses. So to me, that's the home field advantage part of it could be a little bit of an equalizer.
I just think that KC's won on the road in the playoffs. Maybe an equalizer.
One year they went on the road to do it. One stinking year. And the Ravens played the worst game they could possibly play.
So you think KC's out? It sounds like you think KC's out this year.
No, I think KC is just like everyone else in the AFC. They have the history that's much better. But I think they're just like anyone else, which is I don't know how good they are. I don't know how good the Bills are. I don't know how good the Colts are. I don't know how good the Broncos really are. To me, I think they're just as much up in the air as everyone else. If you took away the 3 Super Bowls and the 5 trips to the Super Bowl, if you just watched them this year, wouldn't you say they're in the mix?
Yeah, but that's not the conversation. It's not how have they done the first 9 weeks. The question is who's going to the Super Bowl, right?
Well, I just asked you who's the best team in the AFC.
Yeah, it's the Chiefs.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Coming up next, we will do the NFL in 60. Every game from yesterday recapped in 60 seconds or less.
All right, Maggie. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is on Victor Wembanyama tonight. So, Prize Picks, you pick more or less on stat projections for 2 players. It's awesome. And Victor Wembanyama is at 26.5 points tonight, and I'm going less than on Victor Wembanyama.
Whoa.
Watch him on Friday night against the Astros on some streaming service. Against I said
the Astros?
The Rockets. Same team. And
how'd Jose Altuve do?
You know what? He came down to earth a little bit. Victor Wembanyama is shot blocking, it's standing, but it's about points. So, again, you pick 2 or more players across any sport. You pick more or less on their projections. And if you're right, you could win big and get the season rolling with Prize Picks by getting $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. It's awesome.
Okay, how about a little football tonight if that's your fancy? Pearl, Saquon Barkley, 76.5 rushing yards. What do you think? More than? Less than? I'm going to go less than 76.5 rushing yards against the Packers. I think Packers had a big wake-up call last week, losing at home to the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to put that together with a little Jack Hughes. How about your New Jersey Devils? More than 3.5 shots on goal. This is why we love Prize Picks. Really cool combinations that you may never think of. They're right there for you. And Prize Picks is available in 40 or more states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. All you got to do to have fun, play with us, is download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code MNP. Get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code MNP on Prize Picks. You get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. Guaranteed. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff take you around the league, recapping this weekend's football action. Time for NFL in 60.
All right, Mag. Now, where do we get started? Because I feel like, does the morning game even count in this exercise?
If it didn't happen on this continent, does it count?
Yeah.
I think it does. EJ, you want to tell us these games? We'll tell you everything that happened in 60 seconds or less.
All right, so let's go to Berlin, where a walk-off touchdown by Jonathan Taylor gave the Falcons the win. The Colts the win. Beat the Falcons 31-25.
Just what everyone in Berlin wanted. Falcons football. Catch the fever. Unfortunately, too many of these for the Falcons. They're 3-6 right now, Pearl. It's Bucks, it's going to be their division again. But the Colts are finding a way. Even when Daniel Jones turns the ball over, Jonathan Taylor is just the ultimate weapon for them. And Ty Warren.
Yeah, I don't understand Atlanta at all. They should have won this game, obviously. They should have won a bunch of games. Michael Penix on certain throws looks like the truth. And then other throws, he throws it 8 yards behind a guy and no one has any idea why. He's the one guy in that class I can't figure out. I hope he's good, but I'm not sure.
Who's next, EJ?
All right, so let's go to Chicago, where it was a late touchdown by Caleb Williams to get 14 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. Bears beat the Giants 24-20.
Okay, we've talked a lot about Caleb Williams today on the show. Underwhelmed by his running the offense, passing 20 for 36, 221 touchdown. Very whelmed by his running, the opposite of overwhelmed. Very impressed by his running in the fourth quarter, which has been a key thing. By the way, and we haven't Russell Wilson. That was just sad. That was so sad when he came in the game, especially the last play where he just looked like a little guy. That stunk.
I think Caleb Williams' arrow is pointing up. It's not pretty all the time, but they are finding a way to win these games, and maybe he's trying to change the culture a little bit in Chicago. And I don't know why they're not going to Jameis Winston for the Giants. And Brian Daboll probably wrote his own pink slip yesterday. Another game on the road where they had a 10-point lead and ended up losing. just unforgivable.
This one wasn't really too close, and high drives, Maggie. Dolphins beat the Bills 30-13.
This is how you lose games to bad teams. You turn the ball over deep in their territory. You can't stop the run, and you can't run the ball. The Bills are not a Super Bowl contender, and I don't know why it takes me being the Bills fan here to keep telling you guys this, okay? They do not have the right formula. They have an amazing quarterback, but you want to know what? The game plan is now to force the Bills to be a passing team. How about that? With the MVP. They've got major problems, and I think the one silver lining for me is finally maybe ownership will take a look at the coach and the general manager and say, you know what? Good, but not great. And finally, we might get a coaching change.
By the way, Miami secretly tried to let Buffalo into that game, missing an extra point. And then there was 2 opportunities where the Bills were coming down to make it a game, and they somehow screwed it up.
Let's go to Minnesota, where here come those Ravens. Another win. They beat the Vikings 27-19, closing in on those Steelers for first place in the AFC North.
Yeah, and don't look now. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, I thought Lamar Jackson looked really rusty at first. And then in the second half, you started to see the Ravens offense come to life. And it's like, oh, okay, here they are. The first half did not look good. Like whatever Lamar was trying to do did not work. Second half, I'm like, oh boy, the Ravens are completely back.
Had lost 4 games in a row. Now they've won 3 games in a row. Talking about the Ravens, of course. Next 3 games at Cleveland, New York Jets, Cincinnati. So it's, got a nice little runway here. But I think it's the defense, though, that's been so impressive to me for the Ravens. Last 3 games held Chicago to 16 points, Miami to 6 points, and Minnesota to 19 points. They've turned themselves around.
All right, it took the Jets 2 special teams touchdowns in the first quarter to hold off the Browns. They win to improve their record to 2-7, 27-20.
I mean, that stat that I shared earlier in the show. Their first team since 1950 to let up less than 175 yards and have no turnovers and still win the game. This was the back-to-back returns was awesome on Red Zone. I don't know if you're watching Red Zone, but I didn't watch much of this game because obviously it's Browns and Jets. When I thought I was watching a repeat because they return a kick and then they return a punt.
Yeah.
I thought it was the same play and there was some confusion there. If the Jets were trying to lose, the Browns outdid them.
The Browns are elite at this kind of thing. Just so bad and not smart. And Kevin Stefanski now must be looking over his shoulder. I can't imagine, even if they have these grand plans of drafting a quarterback with the first overall pick, if they get it, which now they are the odds-on favorite to get the number 1 overall pick, Pearl, I don't know if he survives this. It's that bad.
By the way, did he look like he would be sad if they fired him?
No, I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder if he wishes he could just stick around and just coach the Giants next year. Like, stay in New York. Just let the plane go back to Cleveland.
Well, don't you think he wants to go to a different... I don't know if the Giants situation ain't better than the Browns.
Well, I was doing a little back of the envelope on how many coaching openings there will be, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
All right, let's go to Tampa Bay, where there were MVP chants, but not for Baker Mayfield. These were Patriots fans chanting MVP for one Drake May. They beat the Buccaneers 28-23.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield said that they didn't have enough fight in them. And I don't think that was just like lip service from the quarterback. I really think either Tampa thought they were going to have this one in the bag, which means they're not paying attention to who the Patriots really are, or maybe they're just satisfied with themselves that they know they're going to win the division, because it did not feel like a full-out effort. And I was actually impressed with Drake May and how easily he handled Todd Bowles in the blitz, because generally that confuses a lot of young quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Bucs are the same team. I just don't know without... Obviously, Emeka Egbuka is a revelation. He's so great, but it's still not God. And I still think that this is not going to be the second half of the season because of the injuries. I just don't think that they are the great team we saw early in the season.
Maggie thought this would be an easy one for the fighting Rico Dowdles, but indeed it was not. The Saints come up with a win. They beat the Panthers 17-7. You got the first win for one Shuck.
Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, Tyler Shuck. Just when you think the Panthers may have found something, they go to Lambeau last week, beat the Packers, come home, lay an egg to New Orleans and the Saints. This does nothing for the Saints. They're trying to get the highest pick possible. And for the Panthers, not ready for primetime, Pearl.
Well, Tyler Shuck looks like an NFL quarterback. There's no doubt about it. First of all, he's older than most of the quarterbacks, but he's super tall, throws a beautiful pass. The white-on-white uniforms were the star of this day. To me, they are absolutely perfection. I also like the old-school Giants uniforms, too. Those two uniforms won the day, even if the football wasn't great.
All right, so let's head now to the actually, before we get to the late window, we have one more. Texans with a come-from-behind win against the Jaguars.
So the Jags in this game had, according to some metric, a 98.9% chance of winning this game, up 29-10. And somehow, I don't even really know exactly how they lost it. I think they figured Davis Mills is the Texans quarterback. Texans aren't going to do anything. We are going to cruise to this victory. And I'm still not sure how they lost it, and they lost it decisively.
Yeah, they're up 19 points with less than about a minute left to go in the third quarter and lost it. Crazy. Texans are starting to back up quarterback, and Davis Mills won the game with his legs.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't even think
we knew he technically had legs.
I mean, the broadcast is doing the Daniil Hunter, he's not human. I'm like, all right. And I think the Texans saved their season.
All right, now we can go to the 4 o'clock window, and boy, was this one a laugher. Cardinals lose to the Seahawks 44-22. Another big day for Sam Darnold and the crew.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so for Seattle, great win for them. They were off to the races. It felt like last week against the Commanders, where they just got out to such a big lead, Pearl, they could just sort of sit on it. And Arizona, I thought that Jonathan Gannon might be safe because Arizona's been so close in these games, and Jacoby Brissett over Kyler Murray. But I think now he's fired too. That was not a good showing yesterday.
No. I mean, they hung around. I got to give them a little credit for at least competing in the game. Sam Darnold threw 8 passes in the first quarter. He ended up the day with 12 passes. So he only threw 4 for the rest of 3 quarters. What an amazing thing. But those 8 passes were crazy impressive, by the way. Sam Darnold, except for the 2 turnovers, was amazing.
All right, another big showdown in the AFC West. This one goes to L.A. Rams get their revenge over the 49ers, 42-26.
NFC West, yeah.
Sorry, NFC West.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Stafford is amazing. And the 12 touchdowns the last 3 games with no picks, incredible. Devontae Adams hurt his back. Now, I hope he's totally fine. They said some experts said he probably could have come back. He is amazing at his age. I am just infatuated with Devontae Adams in the red zone. He's been a touchdown machine, leads the league in touchdowns. 32 years old. He's kind of perfect for that. Tall and a good sort of small area target.
Just to put some numbers behind Matthew Stafford, Pearl, maybe playing the best football of his career, which is saying something. Yeah. Thought maybe he peaked when he won the Super Bowl with the Rams. He now has, he's the first quarterback in NFL history with 4 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions in 3 straight games. And we go on and on and on from there. Stafford, I think, is going to win the MVP. Who's next, EJ?
All right, let's go to Washington, where Dan Campbell took over play calling this week, and the Lions' offense looked pretty familiar to what we're seeing from them. Usually, they score 44 points in a win over the Commanders, 44-22.
Why didn't Dan Campbell take over play calling earlier? I mean, who's John Morton? Like, you really worried about hurting his feelings? Anyway, now I just don't even know where the ceiling could possibly be for the Lions. This was really awesome, and whenever Jahmyr Gibbs is getting going, it's really impossible to stop. But very curious. Lions next week, Pearl, at your Eagles. Yeah. That's going to be a fun test.
This one's hard to read in anything because Washington's defense is completely given up on the season. Can we all acknowledge Jahmyr Gibbs is the most exciting player in the league still? Jonathan Taylor might win the MVP. Bijan Robinson might have the most all-purpose yards. Christian McCaffrey still Christian McCaffrey. Nobody's electric like Jahmyr Gibbs, and you saw it yesterday. That was kind of a non-game game. So I'm sorry for the Commanders. I know the president was in town, and there was a lot going on there. But the Commanders are not interesting anymore. They just do not play competitive football.
No, without Jaden Daniels, it's not as fun. And
it's not even just that. It's the defense, too. The defense, as you warned coming into the season, I ignored you, just got old.
You know, it's funny. So President Trump was in the booth with Kenny Albert and with Jonathan Vilma. And because of, like, broadcasting, he can't, like, say goodbye right in the middle of the drive, right? Like, you need a commercial break to seamlessly get someone like that in and out of a broadcast booth. So the president are being in the booth for 9.5 minutes. That's like as long as like a 60 Minutes interview. Yeah. By the end, they were like, so what's your favorite color? I mean, it was
awkward.
Went all through his football history, Like, and you can't touch anything political in that spot. So you're not going to grill the president, hey, like about those, SNAP benefits. Like, you're not getting any government shutdown questions, like the stuff that we actually should probably be holding these politicians accountable for. This was like a light, fun, fluffy sort of interview. Yeah. It just wouldn't end because the drive continued forever.
They asked him to do play-by-play.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, specifically, they're like, can you want to call the game? And they're like, I don't know. It reminded me presidents who love football. Bill Clinton loved basketball. You know who was obsessed with football? Richard Nixon was obsessed.
Yes, he helped some of those blackout laws. I think he tried to get them taken out because they couldn't watch football at the White House in the 70s.
Reagan was a cheerleader and announced football and baseball.
George Bush was a huge.
Ford was a big player.
Bush
was a baseball guy.
No, but he was a cheerleader at Yale for the football team.
Oh, the old one.
No. George W. Bush.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What? Oh, I thought he was second baseman for.
I thought he played baseball.
He did play baseball, but
and
guys,
he was a cheerleader.
I feel have we not all seen that photo with him holding the megaphone?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I think he could have been
cool.
Wait, hold on. Now
how about Vilma just calling him like president instead of Mr.
Oh yeah, I see the picture here. By the way, W.
Yeah.
He was a cheerleader at Yale from 1964 to 68.
Oh, thank you, President.
He also played on the rugby team, apparently.
Wow, a lot going on over there. Yeah, did they not have enough people to fill teams? You got baseball, cheerleader,
and how
rugby.
About just the difficulty of an Ivy League school from an education standpoint? Wow. No? Yale?
Once you getting in is the hard part, probably.
Oh, okay. All right.
Perloff went to Dartmouth. He knows the deal.
Dartmouth was pretty hard, but it's a lot of athletes.
I'm saying rugby, cheerleading, baseball was like he was bored. He was looking for stuff to do.
Dad was the head of the CIA. I don't think he was worried about his GPA there.
I mean, okay. I'd have to look up his numbers.
He was also in the Skull and Bones Society.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen the Matt Damon movie about the forming of the CIA. It's all these secret societies at Yale. But the other thing, too, was like male cheerleaders used to be a little, like that was a very common thing. Ronald Reagan was a cheerleader. Yeah. Not that it's not anymore, but it used to be like, I think like 50-50.
All right.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Actually, I don't know. I might be making that up, but like it seems like back in the day there was like a million male cheerleaders. Now, are there now at games?
I think so.
Yeah, I was at the Rutgers game Saturday. Yeah, there's dudes.
Yeah, is it 50-50?
I mean, someone's got to hold the girls up and throw them up in the air.
Not only these guys there, they're jacked because, Maggie said, they got to hold the girls up. Yeah.
They all look like male gymnasts, like really big on top, like muscles. Yeah.
Yes.
Back in the day, all you had to hold was that big cone thing.
That's what George Bush was holding in this photo.
Yeah. What is that called?
A megaphone.
That's a megaphone?
Sure. Well, the non-electric version, non-battery.
I thought it had to be electric. No?
Wait, does it have another name?
Does it?
A megaphone is like...
Let's see.
It's like, please disperse, nothing to see here.
It's like the kind of thing you put around a dog after he gets surgery, right? But you're right. It's probably called a megaphone, but I think of a megaphone with a
megaphone.
Yeah,
it is. Megaphone.
I think of megaphone, nothing to see here. Nothing in naked.
Please disperse. Nothing to see here as the fireworks factory is on fire.
They're on sale here. Megaphones. Cheerleading megaphone.
CeeLo, will you hang for 1 second? We took a little too long with that NFL in 60. We don't want to shortchange your great headlines. We'll be back in just a moment. It's the Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. All right, so much to get to. If you miss any part of the show, you can always download the Maggie and Perloff podcast. We say good morning to our friends listening on Sirius XM channel 375. Babe Ruth, John Elway, Reggie Bush. That's how you remember. 375, guys. If you ever want to find the Maggie and Perloff show. Meanwhile, Chris Lopresti is in with us doing updates, and we didn't have enough time last segment, so let's give you the full floor, CeeLo.
We'll see what's left here. We're sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Also, watch the Skechers World Champions Cup this December 4th, 5th, and 6th on ESPN and ABC. So, a bizarre couple of minutes in Berlin yesterday at the end of regulation between the Colts and the Falcons after the Michael Badgley field goal tied it for Indy. The Falcons get the ball back, and they're trying to maybe get in position for a field goal of their own, which would have won the game. And Michael Penix Jr. gets called for intentional grounding. They're trying to figure out the clock situation, the 10-second runoff, the whole thing. And Mike Pereira is working the NFL Network broadcast on TV, and he was about 10 steps ahead of head referee Clete Blakeman, who struggled with his eventual explanation to the gathered crowd there in Germany.
The timeout to delay the 10-second runoff. So there is a 10-second runoff, plus they offered to wind the clock, so it really ends the game at this point. End of regulation, we'll roll to overtime.
So again, I mean, I'm not sure what he said there.
Yeah, none of us were. Eventually,
did Mike McDaniel just become the head referee?
Yeah, and they did get it sorted out, and they ended up doing exactly what Pereira said.
No,
should.
but Pereira messed up.
What did he
Pereira
mess up?
said, well, that means there's 11 seconds left, and I think they take a timeout instead of rundown. And I was thinking, I'm like, Atlanta wants this game over. He thought that they were going to use their timeout and try and drive down for a field goal. Atlanta was lucky to get a snap off at that point. They had lost their.
But he had it correct in that technically there's, and
there was less than 10. There was more than 10 seconds left. But he thought they were going to call a timeout and like do 2 more plays. And Atlanta couldn't get off the field fast enough.
Yes, and they wanted to get to the coin toss for overtime, which was another issue, as it turned out. Still
it's
kind
tough
of
to
funny.
go overseas, CeeLo. It's travel. It's work travel.
Have you seen a Euro? Who could tell what's heads up, what's heads down?
But not even just the logistics of how it was supposed to go, as explained by Adam Amin, who was handling play-by-play duty.
Well, when you're playing a neutral site game overseas, you have a designated home and road team. The Colts are the designated home team, which means the road team gets the opportunity to call the coin toss. Clete Blakeman actually has Zaire Franklin for the toss. It should have been Atlanta's choice on the toss. They reflipped it during the break. Falcons won the toss. They have the ball.
Yes, so there was a lot. It was a tough couple of minutes for Clete Blakeman, who is a veteran ref, by the way.
Was he doing Oktoberfest over there? What the hell's going on?
I don't know, but
that German beer's really potent.
Yeah. Now, the good thing is none of this ended up really mattering because the Falcons did nothing with that possession, eventually end up losing to the Colts in OT 31-25.
Guten Tag. Seal, I got to stop you just for a moment because this portion of the show is sponsored by Square. More than 4 million neighborhood businesses run on Square. To learn more, go to square.com or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
Jonathan Taylor, massive game. 3rd touchdown ends up the game winner in OT. He ran for 244, including an 83-yard touchdown in that one. Last night at SoFi Stadium, the Chargers handled the Steelers 25-10, and it wasn't even really that close. Steelers didn't reach the end zone until garbage time. Mike Tomlin not pleased with his offense, led by one Aaron Rodgers.
How would you assess Aaron's performance tonight?
How would you? Next.
And I know you guys have seen it. The look on his face as that question was asked tells the whole story, though he did later add this on Rodgers.
We as an offensive collective were off today, and certainly he's a component of that. I'll let him speak for himself, but we certainly got to be better. Didn't feel like they did anything unanticipated, but certainly they outperformed us, particularly in possession down play.
Possession down play?
Of course, it's Tomlin. It's always so extra. But here's the thing. If he had just said that without the snarky Rodgers, what do you think? We wouldn't be paying attention to it as much.
Yes. Emotions were running high
definitely.
after the game. He was annoyed, understandably. So
it's also funny. Rodgers just didn't seem to know where to go with the ball. Like I think he was hitting it like Rodgers looked like he'd never seen this offense before. Something. Every time he dropped back, like you could see it's like, okay, I don't know what to do here. Either guys were covered or he just missing them or something was way off.
By the way, so they've got the big guy, Darnell Washington, right? Who everyone loves because he's
massive.
6'7",
he's a moving mountain.
300 pounds. But why does Rodgers seem to target him 5 times more than Pat Freiermuth?
But you can't miss Darnell Washington. If you're throwing to that side of the field, you might not even be intentionally targeting him, but he takes up half the field from the hash mark over.
I don't know. I think he reminds him of Mercedes Lewis or something. Like there's a nostalgia play that's going on because Freiermuth is the way better pass-catching tight end.
Oh, I think some of it's just like wanting to be smarter than their own good.
Yeah.
Like you kind of mentioned earlier with Joe Brady. It's like, oh, look at us. We got this 300-pound tight end that we can throw to.
Oh, they're doing it for the bit?
But I think so. They're like, oh, look at us throw to this guy again. And they want to make Darnell Washington a thing. And Darnell Washington, I'm sorry, is not going to be a thing.
He's not a thing.
He's not.
They're force-feeding it. It doesn't make any sense. EJ's talking about, I got really mad about the Bills. A 4th and 1. They line up for the tush push against Miami. They're down 7-0. They actually fake out of the tush push. And Josh Allen rolls out and attempts a pass 20 yards downfield to the 3rd-string tight end. It obviously didn't work, and then Miami scored again. It was like, just get a yard,
I don't
please.
even know who the 3rd-string tight end is.
Don't worry about it.
Well, they have 2 good ones.
Yeah.
By the way, there was a play.
How dare you?
So clear. The
mad.
Steelers on 2 third downs put all their pass catchers. Went to this massive tight end lineup without Darnell Washington, with Jonnu Smith and Freiermuth. Those plays were even worse than the. I mean, they were
that
like
Jonnu Smith play though. I thought that was a catch.
No, not
That's
that.
not
That
a
wasn't
catch?
like they had a bunch of short yardage plays where they couldn't get the ball to Jonnu, they couldn't get to Freiermuth, they couldn't get to anyone. They were so out of sync the whole night. Had nothing to do with Darnell Washington. Rodgers was barely like making contact with the receivers.
Lions beat up the Commanders 44-22. Dan Campbell takes over play calling. Detroit goes for the 44 points, 546 yards of offense. Jared Goff had a day. He threw for 320 and 3 scores. Jahmyr Gibbs caught one of those touchdowns, also ran in for 2 others. So the Lions are 6-3. They've got a Sunday night road game against the Eagles coming up next week. Philadelphia tonight in Green Bay taking on the Packers. A note out of that Lions-Commanders game, Deron Payne has been suspended 1 game by the league for punching Amon-Ra St. Brown in that one, which led to a 2-point conversion for Detroit from the 1 because of the penalty. And then Javon Kinlaw got an unsportsmanlike. So it was an ugly scene for the Commanders there yesterday.
Perfect. You should have to take an IQ test if you punch somebody while they're wearing their helmet.
I mean, Deron Payne's had a few of these in his career.
With his own teammates.
I was about to say, I would never mess with Deron Payne.
Jonathan Allen, right?
Jonathan Allen,
They
Deron
were
Payne.
college teammates, too.
Yeah.
That is one fight I never would have wanted to get in between. Those are 2 of the scariest looking people. They're huge. Their muscles have muscles.
There's so many fights in the NFL. I don't know why that one is the one that nobody forgets. I guess maybe it was Thanksgiving and it was the Cowboys game, but just seeing these 300-pound monsters just going after it.
Because they're not just monsters, they're muscular, too.
Yeah.
Allen is ripped. By the way, tonight, we haven't talked about it. Is it going to happen? You guys know, have you been following the storyline?
What,
is it going to happen?
First play? Is that what you're...
Oh, because the Packers were the ones who... Okay, but so the Packers were the team that submitted the first proposal to the NFL to ban the tush push.
Right, yes. In part because their president was on the way out the door and he took a bullet for the commissioner.
Right, so that's the theory, is that Goodell actually wants the tush push gone, and so he went and said, well, the Packers don't have an owner. Their president, you didn't have to call in a favor necessarily or make an owner go against another owner.
Well, their CEO, Mark Murphy, was retiring.
Right, but he's not the owner. You would have
Well,
to...
yeah, but he wouldn't have done it if he was still in the league because he would have known that people would have come after him.
Yeah, so, I don't know what the commissioner gave him as a thanks for the favor. If you're on your way out, what do you get?
Well, I just think the fact that it was on his way out made
car?
it much easier to do it for him. He's like, well, because I don't want the Eagles... If I do it, the Eagles aren't going to come back after me because I'm gone. Because these rules are tit for tat. That being said, I don't think Sirianni's going to do it because everyone expects him to do it. I do not expect the tush push on the first play.
Cry me a river, willow, Philadelphia fans.
I wonder if it's the opposite. Do they not run the tush push the whole game?
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think Sirianni goes against the grain. But most people think he's going to run it on the first play.
Just to be petty.
Yeah. That was our friend Kyle Brandt just tweeted. There was one thing Nick Sirianni is. It's petty. So I don't know. I don't think they would go the whole game now you mentioned because they need it.
No, they need the tush push. It's important.
There were so many teams last year. When I see teams that don't run the tush push, and I keep asking myself, why? Why on 4th and 1 are you in shotgun?
Oh, I know.
And sometimes it works, but generally it's stressful. And you guys had the best tush push I've ever seen. The Bills ran a tush push. Yep. Josh Allen's 20 yards downfield. How do you tush push that far? And then you fumbled.
Well, you got all the way to the second level where he's no longer tush pushing. Now he's just running with the football like any other idiot. And they ripped the ball out of his hands.
Got so far.
God, I hated watching this game yesterday.
So far he didn't know what to do with himself. He's like, lost control of the ball.
Because Jalen Hurts is super strong. Josh Allen is the strongest person ever. You cannot take that guy down.
To be honest, that one bothered me, but the pick in the end zone.
Yeah.
And
the game was still in balance.
And here, James Cook never fumbles and then fumbled yesterday. Guys are going to do that. They just all were in the worst time of the game in the worst part of the field.
One of those days.
Ugh.
That's the way it was, right?
Terrible.
Patriots over the Bucs in Tampa, 28-23. Drake May had a 72-yard touchdown pass to Kyle Williams. He had one to Steph Diggs just as the first half was expiring, though. At least to me, I thought he sounds a little jumpy here with his cadence in the post-game presser, talking Mike Vrabel and his first-year impact on the team.
That's who he is. He's aggressive. He's not going to change. He's it's fun to listen on the headset and just hear kind of what his thought process is. And he's, like I said, the best in the business, and I'm just thankful I get to play for him.
The I mean, I know that some guys, just the way it is. It just sounded like he was on speed there, a little hyper after the game. But hey, they're 8-2. They're in first place, and they get to play the Jets Thursday night.
Drake May can say whatever he wants right now.
Yes. End zone interception wasn't great in that game, but they prevail. So what are you going to do? Travion Henderson, a couple of long rushing touchdowns for New England. Bit of a breakout performance for them. Always good as they move forward here in this season. I meant to bring this up earlier. We were talking about Liam Cohen. Head coach, first-time head coaches, usually they take the job and they put on weight, right? Because they're crunching all that film and they're living at the facility. He's slimming down. He looks svelte. It's a very rare. He usually goes the other way. Well, compared to, I'm remembering him at his press conference with the Duval, and he had like the oversized suit on, and now he looks like trim there with the vest on the sideline.
I never thought of him as anything but like kind of.
Maybe I saw that wrong in his.
We have a good friend, Greg Bishop, who has this amazing article on Sports Illustrated. Greg Bishop looks exactly like Liam Cohen, like they're twins. And he wrote this 3,000-word essay on going out for Halloween and people thinking he was Liam Cohen.
That's awesome. I love that. Tremendous.
They do look alike. Thank you, EJ Stewart, pulling double duty today. Phenomenal stuff. Chris Lopresti, Andrew Kaplan, Weedos and Coffee Drinkers.
Touchdown!